known as the god of death of Konoha. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. On the eve of Bai Yu's trouble. Hisashi, I'm coming. In the battlefield of the Mist Ninja, Bai Yu was landing above the base camp of the Mist Ninja army, shouting loudly, "You're here. Why did you come here suddenly? Is there no problem with the Cloud Ninja?" Hisashi heard Bai Yu's voice, opened the door of the tent, and walked out to welcome Bai Yu's arrival. In the tent, Hisashi made a cup of tea for Bai Yu. "Mist Ninja reinforcement. I'm here to make trouble." Bai Yu took a sip of tea and said with a smile, "Any strategy? I'm having a headache." Hisashi said hurriedly. Then Bai Yu told Hisashi his strategy. Fortunately, although Hisashi is not as good as Naruto in strategy, he is much better than Jiraiya. After a little thought, he understood the benefits of Bai Yu's decision. He immediately said, "Everything is up to you. Whatever you say, we will do it." Hisashi said seriously, "Well, tomorrow morning, the general attack will begin. I will be responsible for the frontal battle, and you will be responsible for the flank. However, the general attack will not begin until I get rid of the six-tailed Jinchuriki. I will prepare flares." Bai Yu said directly. This is not good. After all, each tailed beast is of utmost importance to each village. This will inevitably deepen the hatred between the two villages. Hisashi frowned slightly and said, "TSK, what's wrong with it? The enemy is attacking, and you are still afraid of killing the enemy? What's the point? Besides, it's a war now. What if I go to massacre the entire Mist village?" Although Bai Yu's tone was rather disdainful, the murderous aura emanating from his body proved that Bai Yu really wanted to massacre the entire village now. "Then let's kill the tailed beast. At least it can be resurrected in a few years." "Well," Hisashi said with a slight twitch of his mouth. "Well, you ran to the Mist Ninja battlefield? What does this mean?" Namikaze, Minato and Inoshikacho, in the main account, looking at the latest intelligence, thinking. After a long while, Naruto's eyes flashed with a smile, and he said, "What a Konoha death god Bai Yu. Only Bai Yu can have the courage to execute such a determination." "What's the matter?" Akimichichoza asked puzzledly, while eating potato chips. Then Namikaze Minato looked at Naruto thoughtfully. Yamanaka Inoichi also had some ideas, but they were not clear yet. The actions of the Cloud Ninja prove the unity of the four villages. The Cloud Ninja can divide its forces into 3 battlefields, which proves the determination of the Cloud Ninja. But according to the terrain, the Mist Ninja is the best breakthrough point, even with the reinforcement of the Cloud Ninja. Naruto said wisely. "You mean?" Namikaze Minato asked Naruto with a gleam in his eyes. "That's right. That's the idea." Naruto was sure that Namikaze Minato had thought of it, so he said, What are you talking about?" Akimichichoza asked, after biting a handful of potato chips fiercely. "You plan to use the battlefield of Mist Ninja as a breakthrough point, defeat the Mist Ninja, and allocate troops to support other battlefields." Namikaze Minato said with a patient smile. "Mist Ninja is also a tough nut to crack. Now there are reinforcement from Cloud Ninja. Besides, Mist Ninja also has the existence of Vulpix. How can it be defeated so easily?" Akimichichoza said puzzled. "Even you know that Mist Ninja is hard to crack. You wouldn't know. That's why I say you is very courageous. This is why. Whether the Mist Ninja battlefield can end this time depends on you. Not only must he face the third Mizukage, he must also face the Vulpix and the outstanding elite Jonin of the Mist Ninja. But Yu is not a reckless person. He can decide to launch such a general attack. I think Yu has a 90% chance of winning." Naruto knew Bai Yu's intention just by looking at the intelligence, which shows how high Naruto's IQ is. "Moreover, I guess you will start with the Vulpix first. The general attack will be launched after the Vulpix Jinchuriki is solved." Naruto analyzed calmly. "Have you thought of this step? You are worthy of being Naruto." Namikaze Minato said approvingly. "It's not what I thought of. It's just that Yu's personality is like this. He likes simple, direct and violent methods. But you is still very strong. Narashikaku said with a look of annoyance. I don't understand. I don't understand. Potato chips are still delicious. Akimichi Choza couldn't figure it out, and after saying a sentence, he continued to fight with the potato chips in his hand. Shikaku, then do we need to do anything? Namikaze Minato asked. Well, we don't need to do anything. Maintaining the status quo, covering for Bai Yu, and covering the movements of Konoha is the best help. Narashikaku squinted his eyes and thought for a while and said, Tsunade, your husband has made a new move again. This time the move is quite big. After Hatake Tsukumo got the information, he immediately called Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Uchiha Shisu. Oh, what did my husband do? Who did he kill? Tsunade heard Hatake Tsukumo's words as soon as she entered the tent and said subconsciously, haven't killed him yet, but it will be soon. You two can look at each other. Hatake Tsukumo couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he heard Tsunade's words. Then he handed the intelligence scroll to Orochimaru. As soon as Orochimaru finished reading it, Tsunade snatched the intelligence scroll away. Orochimaru was about to say a few words. Tsunade, you are too rude. He was blocked by Tsunade's words. Why? Don't want to? Is it because I have become gentle, which makes you start to drift? Do you want to review the flying snake? Tsunade's domineering speech. Even Uchiha Shisu trembled in his heart. Teacher, are all your wives so tough? No, Aunt Makoto is not like this. Well, it turns out that the people of the Uchiha clan are of high quality. This is Uchiha Shisu's inner monologue. No, it just so happens that I have finished reading it. Orochimaru's vertical pupils shrank silently and said with a smile, yeah. Tsunade replied with satisfaction. Then he carefully read the intelligence scroll and threw it to Uchiha Shisu. Uchiha Shisu quickly took the scroll respectfully and began to read it. When Uchiha Shisu finished reading it, he handed the scroll to Hatake Tsukumo. Come on. What do you think? Hatake Tsukumo's group generally has a high IQ, so there is no obstacle to analyzing Bai Yu's approach. I have nothing to say. I can tell at a glance that my husband has started to make trouble again. Just keep the status quo. This is nothing. It's better to gamble a few times. Tsunade said impatiently. The inner monologue represents everything. Well, it's indeed good to keep the status quo. Yu-jun's courage is really enough. Orochimaru licked his tongue and squinted his eyes and said, I think the key point lies in the Vulpix. I don't know if the teacher can take the head of the Jinchuriki in the enemy army. Uchiha Shisu said silently. Hey little Shisu. About this, you might as well ask your master wife Tsunade. Your teacher back then. Bang Lord Tsukumo. Are you too strict? Without waiting for Hatake Tsukumo to say anything, Tsunade slammed the table in front of her into pieces and spoke calmly with squinted eyes. Chapter 127 Tailed Beast Power Bank. Bai Yu's deeds are well known to everyone. It's just that, because of this battle, Bai Yu's deeds seem very old. As soon as Hatake Tsukumo mentioned it, Uchiha Shisu instantly remembered the glorious deeds of Bai Yu flying thousands of miles to the Shukaku camp for Tsunade's safety, killing the one-tailed Jinchuriki, just to find Tsunade. I don't have any ideas. Uchiha Shisu said hurriedly. Bai Yu's strategy involves 3 battlefields. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt comfortable again when he saw the information sent back by Jiraiya. Bai Yu. My most correct choice back then was to recruit you into Konoha. Poor Danzo, he actually said that I would regret it. Look how easy it is. Before I could worry about it, Zao you had already thought of a countermeasure. But why do I feel a little empty? Sarutobi Hiruzen whispered to himself. In the end, I felt that I seemed to be dispensable to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt it for a moment. After the war, I will abdicate. It is a blessing to be able to abdicate leisurely. Then, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out his cigarette butt and took out the crystal ball that had not been used for a long time. He began to spy on the bathhouse of Konoha village. Ahem. It was the people of Konoha village. The next morning, Bai Yu was alone. He restrained the luster of the thunder chakra and disappeared silently in the Konoha camp, looking for the location of the 6-tailed Jinchuriki of the Mist Village. Bai Yu was very fast. The search range was very wide. He searched for a long time. Oh my god. The Mist Ninja would not have sent a Jinchuriki to join the battlefield, right? Bai Yu realized this problem in a moment. Suddenly, Bai Yu's heart sank. A maddening depression filled Bai Yu's heart. However, Bai Yu didn't wait for long for helplessness. His passive skill of telepathy brought Bai Yu good luck. Good guy. The six-tailed Jinchuriki just arrived on the battlefield. Bai Yu's telepathy sensed that far away on the sea, a tailed beast's chakra was slowly increasing. Excited. Extremely excited. A feeling of clearing the clouds and seeing the blue sky made Bai Yu feel so happy. Bai Along. Go cut people. Bai Yu jumped high. Bai Along appeared in the air and held Bai Yu. Under Bai Yu's guidance, Bai Along quickly rushed to the supply ship of the six-tailed Jinchuriki. Bubble. A powerful natural force is rushing here. A young man in a chest-exposing robe. His name is Bubble. The six-tailed rhino dog in his body suddenly said, "Huh, could it be passing by?" Bubble frowned and said, accompanied by a strong killing intention, "The ninja of Konoha who can be so powerful should be Bai Yu." The rhino dog said seriously, "Hey, then prepare for battle." Bubble is a person who yearns for peace. If he can avoid participating in the battle, Bubble will never participate. So much so that the third Mizukage repeatedly asked Bubble to be stationed in the Mist Ninja battlefield, and Bubble just followed the supply ship. Tailed Beast Power Bank. I'm here. Let me suck it twice. Bai Yu descended from the sky and appeared in front of Bubble with extremely arrogant words. Bai Along looked at Bubble with indifferent dragon eyes. This guy has a tailed beast in his body that is more powerful than the last tailed beast called Shukaku. Bai Along said lightly, "This is the tailed beast I'm looking for. I've been waiting for so long. I finally met it. You should be the six-tailed Jinchuriki. Let the tailed beast out quickly. I'm in a good mood. I'll let you go." After taking 2 puffs, Bai Yu said seriously, "Humph. Although I don't like fighting and yearn for peace, but I'm also a ninja. I also have dignity." Bubble frowned and said, "Water escape bubble technique." Bubble picked up a wooden tube in his hand and blew it. Instantly, many bubbles floated out of the wooden tube. Very strong, not broken. Instead, it floated to Bai Yu's side. Explode. Accompanied by a light word from Bubble. Bubble began to explode. The seemingly romantic Bubble turned out to be like a simplified version of the detonating talisman. Bai Yu quickly dodged and ran out of the range of the Bubble. Bai Yu is very strong. Bubble, go all out. The rhino dog said seriously inside the Bubble. Yeah. Bubble responded with a serious face, and then his body began to change. In a moment, a slug with 6 tails appeared on the sea. It was huge. Xiao Bei. Freeze this sea surface. Don't let it run away. Bai Yu instantly entered the immortal mode. He shouted coldly. A large amount of white mist spit out from the mouth of the white dragon. Wherever the white mist passed, a thick layer of ice instantly formed. Strong acid gas. A gas spurted out from the holes under the rhino dog's eyes. It was spectacular. The ice surface created by the white dragon was corroded by the gas. Seeing this, the white dragon hurriedly increased his energy output. Immortal technique. Thunder Prison. Bai Yu saw this and knew that this rhino dog was not comparable to that stupid Shukaku, so he quickly released ninjutsu and trapped the 6-tailed rhino dog in the Thunder Prison. No, the wolf decay. A strong liquid sprayed out from the rhino dog. Very corrosive. It corroded a big hole in Bai Yu's Thunder Prison. Escaped from it. Even the ice surface created by Bai Along began to disappear on a large scale. Oh my god. Is it so difficult? If you are still useful, I would have killed you long ago. Bai Yu said helplessly. In this case, then I can only try this. Bai Yu thought for a while. He muttered spiritual words in his mouth. Divine curse technique. 10 direction seal. Seal. This divine spell is the most powerful seal effect among the divine spells that Bai Yu can cast. Specially seals chakra. But it is useless for physical skills and pupil skills. There is no perfect spell in the world. Otherwise, Bai Yu would have been invincible long ago. Poor rhino dog, the small-tailed beast ball that had just condensed exploded at the mouth. Because there was no follow-up chakra support, it exploded and made him dazed for a while. Dharma Eye. The power of the pupil is like silk. Wrap it around me. From Bai Yu's eyes, translucent grey silk thread slowly emerged. Very erratic. But it really existed. The moment the rhino dog was wrapped. Oh my god. It's so cool. The majestic chakra poured into Bai Yu's Dharma Eye space, refined it, and entered the danshin. The danshin that had been empty for a long time was like pouring into the ocean. Let Bai Yu close his eyes and be intoxicated. But the rhino dog was not like this. It felt that Bai Yu was a devil. No. You can't do this. My chakra. No. The rhino dog wailed in pain. But it was useless, because his chakra was sealed, just like a fish on a chopping board, at the mercy of others. The rhino dog's body quickly shrank. But Bai Yu entered an unconscious state at this time. There was a huge change in Bai Yu's danshin. Whether it was his own chakra or the newly absorbed purest chakra, they all began to merge with the natural energy. The energy cyclone slowly turned into a vast ocean of liquid. Finally, under the control of Base Dapper, it turned into a small round particle the size of a grain of rice. It was dark purple with a mysterious halo. Just as the rhino dog's body began to fade, Bai Yu stopped absorbing. The rhino dog breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that Bai Yu had stopped absorbing. A joy of survival lingered in the rhino dog's heart, but before the rhino dog could be happy for long, a depressed mood rose. Chapter 128, Improvement in Strength, Fire in the Backyard, exclamation mark. Hiss, ah, cool. The aura on Bai Yu's body first became extremely strong in an instant. The next second, there was no ripples. It was as if Bai Yu was just an ordinary person. After a moment of silence, a dark purple fluorescence appeared on Bai Yu's body. His skin was fair again. According to the memory of the previous life, Bai Yu at this time once again achieved the innate body and condensed the innate ki. However, in this world, what was condensed was not the innate ki, and what was achieved was not the innate body, but the perfect immortal body. There were originally some mixed chakras in the body. This mixed chakra contained natural energy, ordinary chakras with fire and thunder attributes, some condensed immortal chakras, and some immortal chakras with fire and thunder attributes. But now, in that rice-sized inner pill, condensed powerful, strong, and pure chakra. Immortal chakra with fire and thunder attributes. It is no longer the ordinary chakra that extracts hundreds of trillions of cells. Instead, it extracts the purest chakra of fire and lightning attribute by absorbing the natural energy between heaven and earth. Moreover, Bai Yu's eyes have also changed. The Dharma Eye is no longer a pupil technique that controls opening and closing. Instead, it is open normally. Replace the originally dark pupil. Replace it with a take eye pattern. And the originally white of the eye is a little darker, a little grey. But it is not too obvious. Then, Bai Yu tried to pull out the Bai Yu sword. Turn the energy in the body far away. Sage mode does not require time to prepare. Enter instantly. A casual sword set off huge waves on the sea. When Bai Yu is not running energy, Sage mode automatically exits. The powerful perfect level Sage body automatically absorbs the natural energy between heaven and earth to replenish consumption. Rhino dog, go. Don't go to war with Konoha. Bai Yu said lightly. Although he did not show his coercion, as a tailed beast, Rhino dog could sense the oppression that Bai Yu brought to him. Rhino dog looked at Bai Yu, said nothing, and ran to the distance. That is, the direction of the Miss Ninja. Looking at the rhino dog walking away, Bai Yu smiled. Then he started to laugh wildly. Ha 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 ha. What's going on? Just as Bai Yu laughed, he suddenly felt a hidden energy wave passing under his feet. Like a big black rat. Whoosh. Very fast. But Bai Yu didn't care. Bai Long returned to the Dharma Eye space. Bai Yu flew into the air without wind, flying rapidly towards the Mist Ninja base camp. Is this the wind riding flight in the previous life? It seems that, after forming the inner elixir, his strength should have skyrocketed again. At this moment, Bai Yu felt that he was a well-deserved Konoha death god. A red flare started the general attack on the Mist Ninja battlefield. This battle unfolded silently. It ended very quickly. Before other battlefields had any reaction, the battle in the Mist Ninja battlefield was over. Before the third generation Mizukage showed up, the remnants of the Mist Ninja troops had been beaten back to the sea. In Bai Yu's crazy pursuit, only when the Mist Ninja returned to the border of the Land of Water did Bai Yu stop his brutal killing. For a while, because of Bai Yu's thunder attack, the other 3 battlefields began to be turbulent. The morale of the Konoha ninjas was greatly boosted by their victory over the Mist ninjas. The Konoha troops in the Mist ninja battlefield, except for the ninjas responsible for border defense, reinforced the other 3 battlefields. With the reinforcement, the originally powerful Sanmira once again equaled Konoha. When the 2 Black boys reacted and wanted to attack Jiraiya, it was already over. Bai Yu is back! Exclamation mark. The new candidate for the Reikage, AI, was furious. Ah, that woman. AI slapped the table in the tent and roared angrily. Yo, big brother, that woman seems to be Bai Yu. Crying Yalu, Baka Yalu. Yobi said a weird rap on the side. Bai Yu. AI heard these 2 words, calmed down instantly, and began to fall into deep thought. The battlefields everywhere fell into a new balance because of the defeat of the Mist Ninja. Rushing back to the stage, where small battles are constant but big battles are absent. Taking this opportunity, Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Shizu, Hatake Kakashi, Nohara Rin, Uchiha Obito, and Might Guy have made a lot of military exploits. Their names are getting louder and louder. Whitehead. Uchiha Genji was very surprised to take the initiative to find Bai Yu. Genji, what's wrong? Bai Yu laughed proudly. This is the latest bounty ranking list in the black market. Uchiha Genji got a list from somewhere and handed it to Bai Yu. Bai Yu was stunned for a moment and then looked at the bounty list carefully with interest. After a while, Bai Yu laughed. I didn't expect it to be so cheap. Only 300 million teals. I didn't see the second place. It turned out to be Hatake Tsukumo. TSK. Only 100 million teals. So cheap. Haha. Bai Yu said with a smile. No, Beitao. Look at this page. Uchiha Genji saw Bai Yu's focus and quickly turned several pages. Then he handed it to Bai Yu. Uchiha Genji, the leader of the Black Market Dragon Group. The leader of the 8 members of the Konoha Dragon Group. 3,000 teals. Good dat. Hinata Asakawa. In Ozuka River. The more Bai Yu looked, the deeper his frown became. How could it be? The black market information of the 8 members of the Dragon Group was leaked. Exclamation mark. Who did this? No one else would know except the Konoha high-level officials. Hatake Tsukumo? Impossible. Who is it? Bai Yu got angrier and angrier as he thought about it. Genji, gather all the people in the Dragon Group. You must investigate for me. Find the Konoha high-level officials who leaked the secret. Even if the war doesn't end, I will investigate it for me. Those who dare to mess with me, Bai Yu, behind my back are really like a lantern in the toilet. Damn it. Bai Yu said in a serious voice. Yes. Beitao. Genji turned around and left with anger. What is this? Not only did he not die on the battlefield, but his information was also leaked by the top leaders of his own village. What kind of thing is this? Uchiha Genji left Bai Yu's tent and quickly assembled all the members of the Dragon Group. There is only one mission, that is to find the person who leaked the information of the Dragon Group at all costs. The big move of the Dragon Group affected the Konoha ninjas in the Cloud Ninja battlefield. Jiraiya got the news and hurried over to find Bai Yu. Are you making any new moves? Jiraiya asked with a smile. Well, the information of the Dragon Group was leaked by those scoundrels in the top management. It will have a very bad impact on the execution of future missions. I will send my brothers out to investigate this matter. Bai Yu said with a gloomy face. How could it be? However, the entire Dragon Group went to investigate, which had some impact on the defense of the Konoha base. However, it is understandable. After all, everyone is angry when this happens. Jiraiya's smile disappeared, and he said seriously. We are here. Why should we be afraid of the impact on our defense? They even want to mess with my brothers under Bai Yu. If they get angry, I will go straight back to Konoha and interrogate each high level one by one. Bai Yu said angrily. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129, The Messengers of Death. Let the Dragon Group ninjas check it out first. If they can't find it, I'll go with you. Jiraiya said proudly. In fact, Jiraiya was afraid that Bai Yu would go on a killing spree. He could still stop him. If Bai Yu, the god of death, got angry, who of the old guys in the upper echelons could withstand Bai Yujian? Bai Yujian? Question mark? This nickname is interesting. Haha. Jiraiya couldn't help laughing as he thought about it. Bai Yu, who was a little moved at first, saw Jiraiya's not so smart smile, and his feelings of being moved faded immediately. What are you laughing at? Bai Yu asked. Haha. Nothing. Nothing. Jiraiya touched the back of his head and said with an awkward smile. Nothing? Hurry up and tell me. Bai Yu narrowed his eyes, and the Bai Yu sword quickly flew into his hand, pointing at Jiraiya's neck, and the sage mode appeared. Exclamation mark. Dark purple chakra airflow surrounded Bai Yu. Fuck. Bai Yujian. Are you crazy? Put the sword away. Jiraiya's eyes were about to pop out, and he said anxiously. Bai Yujian? Is that what you were thinking just now? You old pervert, you are really something. The next second, Bai Yu regained his elegant appearance, and there was no longer the tense look just now. Oh my god. Old pervert. That's not called pervert. That's called art. Collecting folk songs, okay. Collecting inspiration. Jiraiya shouted angrily. Old pervert. Bai Yu said meanly. Bai Yujian. Jiraiya replied angrily. Old pervert. Bai Yujian. Until the evening, the two were still glaring at each other and shouting at the new nicknames. Two childish ghosts. The series of big moves of the dragon group made the three battlefields in the villages fall into deep thought. Sand Village, Rock Village, and Cloud Village were thinking about what Bai Yu would do next. The Konoha side was puzzled about what order Bai Yu gave to the dragon group. All the ninjas who were well known in the three battlefields ahead, except Tsunade, were talked to by the members of the dragon group for a long time in the name of the mission. Moreover, during the conversation, various illusions and various ninjutsu that had never been seen emerged one after another. It shocked a kind of ninja, and also refreshed the ninjas of Konoha about the dragon group. The dragon group is not only strong, but also has many ninjutsu, and many of them are ninjutsu that have never been seen before. What exactly does the dragon group want to do? No one knows. Half a month later, the interrogation at the front line was fruitless. All the members of the dragon group gathered in front of Bai Yu's tent again. What are you using your brains for? If you can't find anything at the front line, go back to Konoha village for interrogation. Do you need to ask me for permission? We are a group of brothers who have been through life and death on the front line. Those high level people stab us in the back. It won't work. Go back to the village and check for me. Check thoroughly. Bai Yu shouted angrily in front of the members of the dragon group. Not only were the dragon group ninjas frightened by Bai Yu's momentum, but the ninjas passing by the Cloud Ninja battlefield were also frightened by Bai Yu. I have never seen Bai Yu so angry. When Uchiha Genji saw Bai Yu's look, a warm current flashed through his heart. Only Bai Yu dared to seek justice for his brothers during the war, even if he would rather not fight. Let's go. Uchiha Genji didn't say anything nonsense. He shouted directly. Although all the dragon group ninjas have a superior subordinate relationship, but under the leadership of Bai Yu, they are all twisted into one. All the dragon groups were holding back their anger, and under the leadership of Uchiha Genji, they returned to Konoha village silently without saying a word. Why did the dragon group return to the village? The Konoha ninjas in the three battlefields who received the news were puzzled. Even Narashikaku didn't know the specific situation, but everyone knew that something must have happened. But the two Black Boys Ab brothers were different. They thought this was definitely an opportunity. As soon as AI got the news, he gathered his troops and prepared to attack Jiraiya and Bai Yu. However, he was stopped by the third Reikage. AI, do you think Bai Yu is so easy to deal with? Let's not talk about Bai Yu's personal strength. Jiraiya, who is known as one of the three ninjas of Konoha, is not so easy to deal with. The third Reikage said dully. That woman. AI clenched his fists, bared his teeth like the third Reikage, and said with a grin. The third Reikage slapped AI on the back of his head. Bagger. You can't even beat a woman now. The third Reikage said unhappily. Even I can't beat that woman, you little bastard. Do you mean I'm not as good as that woman? Father. AI shouted angrily. The third Reikage glanced at AI gloomily. I'm going to organize a sneak attack on Konoha. AI said in the most domineering tone, saying cowardly words. Well, go ahead. The third Reikage said lightly. Cry me Yalu, Baka Yalu. Ziobe is definitely not afraid of that woman. Yoho on the road to death. Kirabe took the first step to improve. In the middle of the night, Kirabe was hanging upside down under a big tree, feeling the harmony of the world, with his mouth blocked by an inexplicable cloth. The third Reikage and AI stood under the tree, watching Kirabe floating in the wind, and were extremely happy. Hiratsune, this time, you must give me a reasonable solution. What's wrong with these ninjas of the dragon group? Without saying a word, capture me and start asking questions. Utatane Koharu walked into Sarutobi Hiruzen's office angrily. Without knocking on the door, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was casting a crystal ball, was frightened and quickly put away the crystal ball. What's wrong with the dragon group? Sarutobi Hiruzen actually knew what was going on in his heart, and also asked the Anbu to investigate secretly. But now even Sarutobi Hiruzen may be suspected. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen acquiesced to the series of actions of the dragon group. Now the information was suddenly revealed. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little angry. Could this be a conspiracy of other villages? Sarutobi Hiruzen has reached a level that no one can match in pretending to be confused. Lord Madara, everything is done. The civil strife in Konoha has already been involved. The plan is also ready. It was still the dim basement. White Zetsu has been busy with the tasks assigned by Uchiha Madara during this time. Well, just wait for the opportunity. Uchiha Madara didn't even open his eyes. He said something and began to fall into deep thought. Lord Madara, Bai Yu seems to be stronger. Do you want to kill Bai Yu? White Zetsu said. If Bai Yu was here, he would definitely shout loudly, come on, Madara. Come again. I promise that I will not use a second sword after the first sword. Of course, this is impossible. Haha. Sure enough, the members of the dragon group returned to the Cloud Ninja battlefield after searching in vain. Bai Yu was so depressed. Who is it? He would never have thought that it was White Zetsu who was causing trouble again. Helplessly, Bai Yu had to let the dragon group members join the battle again. After that, for a long time, the dragon group ninjas were like crazy. Every time a battle broke out, they would exterminate all the Cloud Ninjas, as if they were venting their anger. This also made the name of the dragon group loud in the ninja world. The dragon group became the messenger group of the god of death. The dragon group's armor also became a symbol of mental oppression. Chapter 130 Tsunade accepts a disciple. Another spring has come in a blink of an eye. Konoha's 42nd year. The Third Ninja World War has been going on for the 4th year. Tsunade accepted an apprentice. Her name is Shizune. She is Kato Dan's niece. The reason why Tsunade accepted her as an apprentice is that, although Kato Shizune's talent in medical ninjutsu is not as good as Bai Yu's, she is also ranked among the top. And she is also a relative of an old friend, so Tsunade decided to accept her as an apprentice. For this reason, Bai Yu specially brought Mikoto and gave her a gift. Bai Yu's moves must be exquisite. Bai Yu knew Tsunade's character, so he was well prepared. He sorted out the knowledge about medical ninjutsu into 3 scrolls, one for medical knowledge, one for pharmaceutical knowledge, and the other for records of medical ninjutsu. They all started from the simple and went to the complex, step by step. Tsunade secretly sighed that her little man was really considerate, and Shizune also thanked Bai Yu with gratitude. Shizune, in the future, you should study the knowledge on the scroll carefully and ask me if you don't understand. Tsunade said with the demeanor of a teacher. Yes, Lady Tsunade. I'll go back to my tent first. Shizune said respectfully. Watching Kato Shizune leave, Bai Yu asked, Tsunade, why does Shizune still call you sir? The child said that we are at war and on the battlefield. The relationship between superiors and subordinates. I didn't remember it either. Just call me whatever you want. By the way, didn't Hatake Tsukumo ask you to drink? Why didn't you go? When Shizune walked out of the tent, Tsunade didn't care about Uchiha Mikoto and threw herself into Bai Yu's arms. I just want to talk to you before going. It's still early. Bai Yu rubbed Tsunade's head and said, okay, go quickly. I'll talk to Mikoto. Tsunade said after leaving Bai Yu's arms. How can a man always be immersed in the land of tenderness? Well, okay then. I'm leaving. Bai Yu understood what Tsunade meant, smiled and left. On the other side, Kato Shizune, who had just left Tsunade's tent, happily walked back to her tent with 3 scrolls in her arms, was stopped by Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru. Kato Shizune said respectfully to Orochimaru. Well, Yujan is back. Orochimaru asked with a smile. Yes, and Lord Bai Yu also gave me a precious gift. Kato Shizune said gratefully. Oh, Yujan is still so generous. I guessed right. It should be a gift for you about medical ninjutsu. Orochimaru said with his eyes shining. Yes, these are the 3 scrolls. Kato Shizune said. If you don't mind, can you lend them to me to take a look? Orochimaru said with a smile. Sure. Kato Shizune is still very innocent now. He quickly handed the scroll in his hand to Orochimaru. Orochimaru took the scroll and did not break his promise. He just took a look from the beginning to the end. After reading it, he returned the scroll to Kato Shizune. This gift from Yujan is really precious. Shizune, you have to study hard. This is a very rare scroll. Orochimaru said with a smile. Well, I will study hard. I will never let Lady Tsunade and Lady Bai Yu down. Kato Shizune said seriously. Well, then you go back and study. Orochimaru said softly. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. When Shizune left, Orochimaru's eyes flashed with a strange gleam. Yujan's medical attainments are really strong now. Should I also go to Yujan to ask for a high level medical scroll? Orochimaru thought to himself. You're here. Come quickly. Everything is ready. Hatake Tsukumo saw Bai Yu coming in. He quickly pointed to the food and drinks on the table beside him and said. Hatake Tsukumo was well prepared. 5 side dishes and 2 sealed scrolls with the word wine written on them. It looks like they should be sealed scrolls for storing wine. Brother Tsukumo, you are well prepared. It looks like I'm not going to get drunk today. Bai Yu sat down and said proudly. Nonsense. Of course you won't leave until you're drunk. Now you're a great hero of Konoha. Hatake Tsukumo also took a seat and said loudly. What great hero am I? Haha. Bai Yu said with a smile. Hatake Tsukumo took out 2 pots of wine from the sealed scroll. He handed one to Bai Yu. Without saying anything, he just clinked his glasses. He took a big sip. Bai Yu didn't hesitate and took a big sip. Liberate the Mist Ninja battlefield. Distribute the troops to the other 3 battlefields. Balance the battlefield again with your own strength. This kind of merit. TSK. Only you can do it. Hatake Tsukumo said with emotion. Come on. Is today's drinking party just a business compliment? Then I'm leaving. Bai Yu said with a smile. You. Really, it's mainly about Kakashi. Kakashi can achieve what he has today. I really want to thank you. Hatake Tsukumo finished the pot of wine without giving Bai Yu a chance to refute. Bai Yu also drank it heroically. Don't mention this anymore. Talk about something else. When did you become so fussy? Bai Yu said, without Hatake Tsukumo doing anything. He took a pot of wine from the scroll. Haha. Okay. Let's talk about some family matters. I heard that Fugaku is going to be a father. You are married to him. Why is there no movement? Hatake Tsukumo looked at Bai Yu's kidneys and said meaningfully. Oh my god. What's that look in your eyes? Don't you know that I also have medical knowledge? I'm good at controlling myself. I don't want to have a child so early. Okay. Fugaku, this kid, is also the head of the family now. Of course he has to consider the family inheritance. I'm different. I don't want my children to live in an era of war. Bai Yu said with a trace of helplessness in his eyes. If possible, who wants their children to live in an era of war? But peace or war, who can say for sure? Hatake Tsukumo said, after taking a sip of wine. Yes, but at least we have to wait until this war is over. Bai Yu said helplessly. This war will probably take a long time. This time, the 4 villages have united, although you have flattened one battlefield. Hatake Tsukumo said with emotion. It's because I worry too much. Otherwise, I would have done something long ago. Bai Yu said helplessly. Although Bai Yu is fully capable of doing something now, Bai Yu is just one person. What if when Bai Yu targets one side, other places jointly attack Konoha? In the case of being caught off guard, it is very likely that a weak point will become a breakthrough. Victory in the Mist Ninja battlefield. That's just because of the right time, place, and people. And Bai Yu returned to defend the Cloud Ninja battlefield in time. Otherwise, if all the cage level ninjas from each village were concentrated in one place, Bai Yu would be at a loss. It's not that he can't win, but it will take a lot of effort. It is very likely that at this juncture, the rear will be in danger. Once Bai Yu can't take care of it, it will cause the rear to fall. That's why Bai Yu has been forbearing, all of which is to take care of the overall situation. Otherwise, with the charm of the tailed beast power bank, would Bai Yu not do something? Exclamation mark. Chapter 131 Dust-Covered Memories. That's right. Do you have any ideas about the war? Hatake Tsukumo asked. How could I not have any? Now the Cloud Ninja, Sand Ninja and Rock Ninja are united. The most important battle against the Sand Ninja is at Mount Kikyo. This place is the most critical fortress for the Sand Ninja to fight against Konoha. The most important place to fight against the Rock Ninja is the Kanbubi Bridge. That place is the only route for the Rock Ninja to transport supplies to the front line. If this bridge is destroyed, it's only a matter of time to defeat the Rock Ninja. The main thing is a tight defense. With the reinforcement of the Cloud Ninja now, it's even harder to take it down. Bai Yu thought for a while and said, well, Orochimaru, Tsunade and I think so too. No, let's not talk about this today. Drink. Haha. Hatake Tsukumo said with a smile. Drink. Bai Yu also shouted heroically. Neither of them used chakra to dissolve the smell of alcohol. At the end of the drink, even Bai Yu was a little dazed. I have to say that Hatake Tsukumo performed very well today, and he was able to continue drinking with Bai Yu. However, what Bai Yu didn't notice was, every sip of wine I drink will result in a drop of light red liquid. Brother, when will you awaken? A girl wearing palace clothes, typical oriental classical beauty, with a body and face of stunning golden ratio. In Bai Yu's Dharma Eyes space, her eyes were full of complex expressions, and she whispered softly. However, this scene only flashed by, and the girl instantly turned into a 100-meter long white dragon again, entangled in the Dharma Eyes space. Walking out of Hatake Tsukumo's tent, Bai Yu staggered. I always feel that something is wrong with me today. It's too hot inside. Back to Tsunade's tent. Tsunade and Mikoto are still chatting. Seeing the staggering Bai Yu, the two girls came over to support Bai Yu. The familiar fragrance surprisingly aroused Bai Yu's nerves today. The heat in Bai Yu's body suddenly rose. Bai Yu's eyes, which were originally black and white, were instantly congested. His breathing became heavier. Like a tiger, he held the two girls in his arms and looked at Tsunade and Mikoto in his arms like prey. Sensing Bai Yu's unusualness, Tsunade and Mikoto suddenly froze. They didn't know how to move. Bai Yu raised a strange and evil smile. With a wave of his hand, a formation surrounded the entire tent. That's right, it was a formation. Not a talisman formation. Not a nodule. It was a formation. It belonged to the memory of the previous life. But Bai Yu waved his hand to arrange the formation, but he didn't understand it at all. A dragon pattern appeared above the tent. It was inconspicuous, just a little fluorescent. It was just because it was night that it was more conspicuous. What happened in the tent was unknown to the outside world. The author didn't know either. The next day, the formation disappeared quietly. Tsunade and Mikoto blushed and cleaned up the mess in the tent. They changed into new clothes. There was no way the clothes they wore before were torn. Sister, what's the smell? It seems to be a burnt smell. Did you do anything? Uchiha Mikoto, who was packing up, sniffed and asked in confusion. No. Tsunade said quickly after hearing this, and then she also sniffed. Yeah. What a strong smell. It seems to be from my husband. Tsunade frowned and said. Boom. Just as the two women were talking, a fire suddenly broke out in the tent. With Bai Yu as the center, the surrounding tents and wooden bed frames were on fire. Husband. The two women ran over quickly. They were about to use water attribute ninjutsu to put out the fire. Don't move. Bai Yu is at a critical moment now. Don't get excited. Bai Long transformed into a miniature white dragon, appeared in front of Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto and said. The tone was very serious, but there was also a suppressed excitement. Bai Along. What happened to my husband? Why did it suddenly catch fire? Uchiha Makoto is different from Tsunade. Tsunade will be very calm after encountering something. Although it was related to Bai Yu, Tsunade was also very anxious. Uchiha Makoto asked hurriedly. How to explain? I can only say that nothing happened. Specific. Wait until brother Yu wakes up, and you will know. As Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto were all paying attention to Bai Yu, they did not notice the stuck in Bai Along's words. Oh my god, it's so close. What if brother didn't awaken successfully? Then I can't explain it. Bai Along thought to himself. At this time, Bai Yu was in a situation where he couldn't control himself. Where is this? Why can't I control my body? Bai Yu shouted in his heart. Exclamation mark. At this time, Bai Yu was surrounded by darkness. Just when Bai Yu was about to collapse in this space without light and sound, the surrounding scene changed. It started playing like a movie. Lightning and thunder in the sky. I was actually spit out from a dragon's mouth. It was a golden dragon. The dragon looked at Bai Yu lovingly. The giant dragon actually had a broken egg in his hand. Was I hatched from the egg? Although Bai Yu couldn't move, his vision was set. It was as if he was experiencing someone else's memory. What did Bai Yu see? He was actually a long silver dragon. There was an egg beside him. After a while, the egg also broke. A white head appeared. It was a little white dragon. For a long time, this golden dragon would give himself and the white dragon beside him some exotic flowers and plants, all kinds of strange things. But that thing was delicious. Every time he ate it, there would be a kind of power in his body, washing his body. Very comfortable. Gradually, Bai Yu understood the strange words that the dragon always said to him. That was called dragon language, the dragon's own mother. The white dragon beside him was his sister, Baking Cheng. His name was Bai Yu. Everything was so happy. Everything was so warm. But the good times didn't last long. A silver dragon like Bai Yu appeared, but it was many times bigger than Bai Yu. During the chat, he learned that Bai Yu's father had escaped back. Just when Bai Yu and his father were having a moment of warmth, countless dragon roars rang out in the sky. A black dragon, with a ferocious look on his face, killed his mother and father. Just when the black dragon was about to kill his sister, Bai Yu exploded. A strange power awakened in his body, and with the explosion of power, a black light circle appeared beside his sister. Bai Yu raised his dragon claw and drew a silver sharp blade towards the black dragon. The black dragon also let go of Baking Cheng. Bai Yu pushed Baking Cheng into the black light circle with one claw. Control the black light circle to disappear. The last picture Bai Yu saw of Baking Cheng was a dragon head with tears. The black dragon cursed Bai Yu! Exclamation mark. In the end, Bai Yu died tragically in the hands of the black dragon. The black dragon retreated, and a golden and silver intertwined light enveloped Bai Yu. Bai Yu was brought to the place where the black light circle disappeared by the light, and disappeared. Finally, the golden and silver light gradually dissipated. Then came Bai Yu's past and present lives. Crack. A broken sound rang in Bai Yu's mind. Bai Yu's eyes were empty for a moment. When Bai Yu came back to his senses again, tears slowly flowed down. Father, mother, sister. Bai Yu murmured in his mouth. A force suddenly erupted at the location of Bai Yu's heart. This force was like a blade, unscrupulously and fiercely, accompanied by the flow of blood, scraping Bai Yu's body inch by inch. Bai Yu wanted to shout, but couldn't shout out. Chapter 132 Baking Cheng. It's been 7 days. What's going on? Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto were standing by a deep pit, looking at the fire at the bottom of the pit, and muttering with a frown. In 7 days, the fire on Bai Yu's body burned the tent and even the ground, and the pit became deeper and deeper. Even now, it is still sinking a little bit. Under the deep pit, Bai Yu's body is also changing a little bit. The silver grey hair turned into pure silver, brighter than Kakishi's hair. The muscle lines of the originally well-proportioned body are becoming more and more obvious. In this situation, Bai Yu feels that the blood in his body is flowing faster and faster, and it is also more and more surging. The dusty memories are absorbed by Bai Yu bit by bit. At this time, Bai Yu understood why he felt that his body was strange before, and why there was a trace of moisture at the corner of his mouth before. It was all Bai Long's fault. Bai Long is Bai Yu's sister Bai Qingcheng. Bai Qingcheng's dragon blood can awaken the dragon power in his body and the memories sealed in the depths of his soul. Bai Yu understood everything. However, this does not mean that Bai Yu has become Bai Yu. Bai Yu is still Bai Yu. It's just that Bai Yu has awakened the power of the dragon! Exclamation mark. His physical fitness has improved again. Because Bai Yu is a human, his body has not changed. It's just stronger and more in line with nature. Bai Yu's Dharma Eye is also a manifestation of the talent of dragon power. The yin and yang method can connect heaven and earth. Although it is no longer the space power of the past. But this yin and yang method is also very powerful, even more powerful than before. Qingcheng. Bai Yu suddenly opened his eyes. The flames around him disappeared instantly. The flames were because the blood in Bai Yu's body quickly turned into dragon blood, and the temperature was too high for a while. Now that the awakening is complete, the power of the Dharma Eye has a deeper understanding, a stronger grasp, and a better physical fitness. The flames naturally subside. With Bai Yu's murmur, the ancient beautiful girl instantly appeared in front of Bai Yu. Sister. Bai Yu looked at Bai Qingcheng's face. The feeling of blood thicker than water instantly rose in his heart. At this time, Bai Qingcheng also felt the power of this family affection. Tears slowly slid down. Only after awakening, Bai Yu will overlap with Bai Yu before. Brother. Bai Qingcheng fell freely and fell into Bai Yu's arms. You have worked hard all these years. Obviously your memory has been restored. Why didn't you tell me? Bai Yu touched Bai Qingcheng's hair and said with a smile. It doesn't matter before. You are dead, and now it is equivalent to rebirth. The memory before life is just a memory. You have stories, I have wine, and we are good friends. Are these words familiar, brother? Bai Qingcheng said faintly with a strange expression. Ah, haha. So embarrassing. Bai Yu instantly remembered the bold words he said when he traveled to this world. Embarrassed, he touched his head and said with a smile. Now is not the time to be embarrassed, you should think about how to explain it to everyone. Bai Qingcheng said angrily. Well, by the way, I can explain that there is a new breakthrough in the fire, a tribute chakra in my body. Bai Yu said with his eyes shining. What about me? Do you still want me to be in your Dharma Eye space? Bai Qingcheng looked at Bai Yu faintly. Well. Bai Yu was excited 1 second, and like a frostbitten eggplant the next. Brother. Bai Qingcheng knew that Bai Yu was soft-hearted, and said aggrievedly the next second. Brother. Well, I'll just stay alone in that empty space. It's been so long anyway. I'm used to it. Bai Qingcheng's eyes were filled with tears, as if they were going to flow out the next second. And then they had to return to the Dharma Eye space. But it was all in slow motion. Oh. Okay, I'll think about how to explain it. I'll think about it. Bai Yu couldn't stand it anymore, and then frowned, and began to think deeply. Bai Qingcheng began to look at Bai Yu pitifully. But in his heart, he was thinking, stupid brother, think about it quickly. Hurry up, I can't hold it anymore. I thought of it. This time, the power of my Dharma Eye has evolved and removed your memory. You are my sister Bai Qingcheng from the same village. Now you are a spirit. After death, I accidentally put you into the Dharma Eye space and controlled you by my ability. Because you are a spirit, you can absorb natural abilities smoothly. I subjectively shaped you into the image of a dragon. Now that it is unsealed, it will naturally return to its original appearance. How about it? How about this reason? Isn't it okay? Bai Yu felt that several white trillions of his brain cells had died. Then he smiled and said, great. I knew that my brother is the best. In this way, Qingcheng can stay with my brother. Bai Qingcheng's face instantly turned into a smile. Bai Yu thought that Bai Qingcheng was happy. Little did he know that it was because Bai Qingcheng was on the verge of collapse. Great, I can finally play outside. Stupid brother, I have been thinking about it for so long. I remember that the dice shaking game that Tsunade's sister-in-law likes is really fun. Well, I must go and play. Exclamation mark. Bai Qingcheng put her chin on Bai Yu's shoulder and thought excitedly in her heart. By the way, Qingcheng, are you dead or alive now? Bai Yu asked curiously. You are so stupid. If I'm dead, where can I get the dragon blood for your awakening? Baking Cheng left Bai Yu's arms proudly, hugged her arms, and said with contempt, "Ah, is that so? Hey, that's not right. Who are you with? What's that expression on your face?" Bai Yu said angrily, "Brother, you are mean to me." Baking Cheng immediately lowered her head pitifully and said in a low voice, "I'm not. Oh, forget it. Let's go up first." Bai Yu helplessly pulled Baking Cheng's hand and was about to fly upwards. "Are you sure you want to fly up like this?" Baking Cheng pointed at Bai Yu's body and said with pursed lips, "Oh my. Turn your face away." Bai Yu took a look at his body and then hurriedly shouted at Baking Cheng. He took out a new set of clothes and put them on. Embarrassedly pulled Baking Cheng out of the deep pit. Tsunade and Makoto saw Bai Yu flying out and rushed over, but when they saw Baking Cheng being held by Bai Yu, they stopped with a bad look on their faces. Then they were a little puzzled. "Who is this woman? She is pretty. I'm sorry to have worried you." Bai Yu naturally let go of Baking Cheng's hand. Then he walked over and domineeringly took the two women into his arms. In full view of the public, Bai Yu led a woman out of the pit and now domineeringly took the two women into his arms. Because the news of Bai Yu flying out had been spread by other ninjas, they all came to watch. "You're going to die. So many people are watching." Uchiha Makoto blushed and pushed Bai Yu away. "Let me introduce you. My sister Baking Cheng." As a good young man who has watched many movie emperors in the 21st century, Bai Yu behaved very freely. "What?" Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto said in disbelief. "Do I look like a fool?" Tsunade said gloomily. Even Uchiha Makoto looked a little bad. "Really? She is also a white dragon?" Bai Yu said helplessly. "What is going on?" Tsunade frowned and said. So, Bai Yu exaggerated the reason he had just thought of, and said it more emotionally. The next second after Bai Yu finished speaking, Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto, one on the left and one on the right, pulled Baking Cheng to the newly built tent to chat. Bai Yu was left confused. Chapter 133 Shocking News. After this incident, Bai Yu's name became famous again. Baking Cheng is Bai Yu's sister. She appeared as a spirit body, just because of those eyes. For a while, Bai Yu's bounty doubled, especially those eyes. It made all the black market ninjas excited. Bai Yu returned to the Cloud Ninja battlefield by himself, and Baking Cheng was brought back to the village by Uchiha Makoto to register. After Baking Cheng froze Sarutobi Hiruzen's pipe, Baking Cheng hated the smell of smoke. She was directly registered in Konoha as a special jonin by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Baking Cheng looked at the ice blood limit written in the small notebook and said nothing. "This is just an identity certificate." A month passed. A piece of information that shocked Bai Yu was sent back from Konoha village! Exclamation mark. It's not shocking, but a little unexpected. This information made Bai Yu the most anxious ever. He didn't know what to do at all. Tsunade. Uchiha Makoto. Pregnant! Exclamation mark. Baking Cheng flew over to tell Bai Yu this information. At this time, Baking Cheng was watching with interest. Bai Yu was walking back and forth at the door of the tent, with an anxious look on his face. "Brother, you seem to be very panicked." Baking Cheng said teasingly. "I'm not panicked. I just don't know what to do." Bai Yu said, pretending to be calm. "I'm curious. I remember that I clearly did a good job of safety." Bai Yu said, while walking back and forth. "Do you remember that time when you drank with Hatake Tsukumo?" Baking Cheng said with a smirk. "You mean Hatake Tsukumo? Impossible. He can't do that." Bai Yu said with a pale face. "PFFT. What are you thinking about? That day when you drank with Hatake Tsukumo, I added a lot of my dragon blood to your wine. You know, the effect of dragon blood." Baking Cheng was speechless for a while. Then that kind of smug little look began to show in front of Bai Yu unscrupulously. "Oh my god, I told you. You. Hey." Bai Yu now completely understood. Although the dragon nature is like this, it's all in the blood. Whatever you do on weekdays, drinking dragon blood alone is the most powerful drug in the world. Moreover, your body activity will be 10 times stronger than usual, so it is normal to get pregnant. "Brother, I think you should go and accompany your sisters-in-law now." Baking Cheng just finished speaking. Swoosh. Bai Yu disappeared instantly and flew away in the air. "Don't care about the battlefield?" Baking Cheng said softly in a daze. The battlefield is up to you. Bai Yu's voice reached Baking Cheng's ears. Baking Cheng was left messy in the wind. Damn it. I still want to go to the casino that my sister-in-law mentioned. The money is all there. Baking Cheng stomped his feet and said. Then he turned and walked to Bai Yu's tent, leaving a very even deep pit. Bai Yu's speed is very fast, like a flash of lightning, flying back to the home he hasn't returned to for a long time. Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto are cleaning the house. Seeing Bai Yu's appearance, the two women instantly threw themselves into Bai Yu's arms. Women at this stage are very fragile, very scared, panicked, helpless. I really hope that my man will appear by my side, accompany me, and get through this helplessness that just happened. Husband. At this moment, Uchiha Mikoto cried, and even Tsunade, who has always been strong, cried. Women are always women. No matter how strong a woman is, she will always need a reliable embrace when she is helpless. The appearance of Bai Yu gave the two women a backbone, so reassuring and safe. I'm back. Bai Yu lowered his head, stuck to the top of the two women's heads, and said gently. So, Bai Yu took the two women and moved back to the renovated Sanju rental house. He hired 5 servants, clean up and cook every day, responsible for the food and daily life of Bai Yu and the other two. When they heard that Baking Cheng would replace Bai Yu, Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto would not let Bai Yu leave the two women. Poor Baking Cheng would record the number of days she was less happy every day, while silently cursing Bai Yu in her heart, and she had to freeze Jiraiya's prying all the time. In fact, during the days in Konoha, she was also spied on inexplicably and asked about her two elder sisters-in-law. Tsunade went out with a bad face and said nothing. But what made Baking Cheng happy was that there was no more inexplicable spying afterwards. Sarutobi Hirozen did not see guests for several days before returning to normal. All this was so wonderful. Husband. Do you like boys or girls? Uchiha Mikoto sat on Bai Yu's right and asked softly. Tsunade sat on Bai Yu's left and heard Uchiha Mikoto's question. Her ears were like radars, capturing signals from various bands. For me, boys and girls are fine. They are all my children, so I won't be prejudiced. Bai Yu said without hesitation. Then do you like boys or girls? Bai Yu asked with a smile. I like boys. They can become a ninja who can stand tall and protect me. Uchiha Mikoto thought about it and looked at her belly lovingly. What about you? Tsunade. Bai Yu looked at Tsunade and asked. It doesn't matter to me whether it's a boy or a girl. Tsunade also looked at her belly lovingly after saying that. Bai Yu kissed Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto on the forehead. Then he looked at the sky with a smile on his face. The feeling of being a father is so wonderful. After Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto give birth to their children, he must end the war as soon as possible. Even if it means losing the rear, he must end the war. Bai Yu doesn't want his children to grow up under the shadow of war. They can know some of the real environment of the war, but just knowing is enough. In such a cruel environment, it is better to grow up peacefully and happily. Leave the fighting and killing to the adults. Childhood is still very important. After Uchiha Fugaku got the news, he brought Uchiha Missy to visit. Uchiha Fugaku even thought of the name of the child. After Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Missy left, Tsunade asked Bai Yu, husband, have you named your child yet? Look at Fugaku, he has already named him Uchiha Itachi. The boy's name is Baiki. The girl's name is Baiyao. Reserve a boy's name Baihao and a girl's name Baiang. How about it? Nice, right? Bai Yu thought for a while and said with a smile. Why are all the names 2 characters? Uchiha Mikoto asked curiously. In my hometown, 2 characters represent nobleness and 3 characters represent ordinariness. What nobleness and ordinariness? It's just because the author can't remember 3 characters. Bai Yu said inwardly with dissatisfaction. Is that so? That's good too. It's easy to remember. Tsunade touched her belly and said with a smile. The 2 black boys were so happy when they learned that Bai Yu had returned to the village on the Cloud Ninja battlefield. They quickly gathered their forces and attacked the Konoha camp. But when Baking Cheng appeared and froze most of the Cloud Ninjas, they continued to fight on a small scale. Every Cloud Ninja could see that the faces of the Ab brothers were even darker. If it weren't for the comfort of other Kumogakure ninjas, Abi and the others would definitely fight to the death with Baking Cheng and Jiraiya. The two brothers are still very strong, but they have been suppressed all the time, causing them to lose their confidence. Chapter 134. The storm is surging. This is not a solution. AI is still too young. The war has been going on until now, and a lot of supplies have been consumed. If this continues, the Daimyo prefecture will probably reduce its supply of supplies. The third Reikage rushed back to the village to receive the envoy sent by the Daimyo prefecture and sat alone in the office in deep thought. He didn't know that all this was seen by AI. As a candidate for the Reikage, AI also had to participate in these things, but the Reikage didn't let AI show up, and AI secretly watched everything. For a while, AI clenched his hands. Damn it. Why does Konoha always have so many talents? Chiyo sat in the main account of the camp, thinking about the situation on the battlefield alone. He clenched his fists and frowned in his heart. Fortunately, the Sand Ninja side has sufficient supplies. For a while, the Daimyo prefecture did not send anyone, not to mention the old Tsuchikage, who calculated the supplies in detail. I think it is necessary to implement Kanabahashi's plan. Namikaze Minato sat in the main account, and Inoshikacho was also here, discussing together. It is necessary, but I think that in the current situation, you should be executed together. Narushikaku said, after thinking for a moment. But Yu's current situation is not suitable for leaving. After all, he is now an expectant father. Akimichi Choza said with potato chips in his hand. Now, there are reinforcement from the Kumo ninja. Unlike before, there is still a chance. The defense force of the Kanabi Bridge is now several times more than before, and the chance of Minato's success alone is not even 60%. Once it is delayed for some time, the supporting troops will exceed 1,000. 4 people against 1,000 reinforcement, although Minato's current ability can resist, but with 4 little guys, it is just surviving. Once the mission fails, the defense force of the Kanabi Bridge will be increased by 3 times or even more. At that time, it will be even more difficult. Narushikaku said calmly. Well, Yu's current situation, I'm really embarrassed to go to him. Namikaze Minato said helplessly. I can't open my mouth. Yamanaka Inoichi also said embarrassedly. Not to mention me. Akimichi Choza said calmly, while eating potato chips. Although Narushikaku said only one word, the helplessness on his face proved everything. How about this? Wait until I finalize the mission plan. Before I leave, Narushikaku, you pass a message to you. I think with Yu's speed, it shouldn't take long to go back and forth. I guess you will come. Namikaze Minato said helplessly. That's the only way. Narushikaku said with a troubled look on his face. After the meeting, Namikaze Minato was thinking about the mission plan for Kanabi Bridge alone. At the same time, it was not only Namikaze Minato who was thinking about a good strategy to defeat the enemy. Hatake Tsukumo also summoned Orochimaru and some captains to discuss the plan to capture Mount Kakayo. Orochimaru, you have always been very good at strategy. Tell me what you think. Hatake Tsukumo said. Well, this is what I think about this place. The fortress of Kakayo Mountain. As the material transportation center of the Sand Ninja and Cloud Ninja coalition, the defense must be very tight. Even if we attack, judging from the map, the speed of returning to support is also very fast. So if we want to break through here and take down the Sand Ninja battlefield in one fell swoop, we must launch a general offensive. Then, send out excellent ninjas as the vanguard. Sneak in and do it in one go. But this faces a problem. The number of people in this vanguard cannot be large, and there is no support, and they may all be killed at any time. Because of the general offensive, we can only contain the main force of the enemy, and there will still be a large number of reinforcement ninjas to support Kakayo Mountain. Orochimaru said coldly. After listening to Orochimaru's words, Hatake Tsukumo frowned and began to ponder. It's not that Orochimaru is wrong, but that Orochimaru is right. This is indeed the case. And the best candidate for this team is Bai Yu's dragon group. But will Bai Yu, the guy who protects his calf, agree? But in order to defeat the enemy, Bai Yu should agree, right? Damn it, it would be easier if I didn't have such a close relationship with Bai Yu. But, I should ask the leader of the dragon team, Genji, first. If they agree, it would be easier to talk to Bai Yu. It's such a headache. Hatake Tsukumo glanced at Orochimaru, who hadn't said anything yet. Hatake Tsukumo said helplessly, "You mean, the team suitable for this mission is Bai Yu's dragon team?" "Yes. But, with Yu-jun's personality, I'm afraid he won't be willing to let them go. Especially the 8 people in the dragon team. After that incident, you can see how much Yu-jun cares for his subordinates. It's difficult." Orochimaru, who has always been cold-blooded, also had some helplessness in his eyes at this time. "It seems that I have to go there myself. During this time when I'm gone, it's up to you, Orochimaru," Hatake Tsukumo said with a heroic look. "Don't worry. Have a good journey." Orochimaru rarely made a joke. Hatake Tsukumo's mouth twitched twice. Without saying anything, he just waved his hand. There was nothing to prepare. He just picked up his weapon, called 2 ninjas, and rushed to the Cloud Ninja battlefield. "Hey, Lord Tsukumo. Long time no see. Do you want to go to collect folk songs together?" Jiraiya also warmly entertained Hatake Tsukumo, who came over. "I came here for a serious matter this time." Although Hatake Tsukumo didn't want to refuse in his heart, he was not that kind of person. He said righteously, "Okay. I remember that I took a photo once, but you were so absorbed in it. Oh my god. You guy." Hatake Tsukumo's face changed, and he instantly covered Jiraiya's mouth, then looked around vigilantly, and found that no one cared, so he breathed a sigh of relief. Haha. Look, it turns out that, even though he said no, his actions are still very honest. Jiraiya put his arm around Hatake Tsukumo's shoulders, and said with a swaying face, "Asshole. Where's Uchiha Genji? I have a mission that needs help from the dragon group." Hatake Tsukumo said unhappily. In that tent. But be careful when you go there. These monsters have set up many traps around their tents. Even I have to be careful. I don't know how you trained these people." Jiraiya casually pointed to a large tent that was isolated and said angrily. Hatake Tsukumo squinted his eyes and looked at some of the details revealed around the tent. His eyes lit up. "Beautiful. This trap, so cunning!" Exclamation mark. Really cunning. If the dragon group performs this mission, the success rate will definitely double. No, this mission must be performed by the dragon group. Definitely the dragon group. Hatake Tsukumo is the captain of the Anbu after all. Although the dragon group's wave of cunning traps made Hatake Tsukumo a little more careful, but he still walked into the dragon group's tent safely. When Hatake Tsukumo just came in, several cold blades were instantly attached to Hatake Tsukumo's neck. Of course, this is when Hatake Tsukumo did not move. How could Hatake Tsukumo be so easily killed? Chapter 135, Hatake Tsukumo lobbies. "Lord Tsukumo? Quick, take back your weapons." Inazukagawa was the closest to Hatake Tsukumo, and he could see Hatake Tsukumo's face clearly in an instant. Then there were the sounds of a crackling sound as the trap was being retracted. "Genji, you're detonating tag. Damn it, be steady and don't explode." "Asakura, damn it, you actually put the detonating tag under my bed." "Asshole Akaru. Didn't you also put a lightning escape under my bed?" "Oh my god. Kyokumo. Are you crazy? You actually hid several ninja swords above my head and hid them with illusions. What if they fall down while I'm sleeping? Don't you just talk like that. Didn't you also put a box of kune above my head?" "Hiji, I never pointed out your illusion. That is full of loopholes." "Okay." Looking at the actions of the dragon group, Hatake Tsukumo's eyes widened. How did these people survive until now? Helplessly, Hatake Tsukumo found a black chair and was about to sit on it. "Stop. Lord Tsukumo, don't sit down yet." Aburame Chizuru saw Hatake Tsukumo's action and hurried over to stop him. "Huh? What's wrong?" Hatake Tsukumo asked in confusion. Aburame Chizuru didn't know how to explain. "Put your hands on the chair." Then, the black chair began to roll. The black color was like a black mist, pouring into Aburame Chizuru's hands. "This is a nano-level bug that Beitao made for me. It can devour the flesh and bones of ninjas in an instant. The chakra consumed is very scarce, so if you don't perceive it seriously, you can't find it." Aburame Chizuru touched her head, said weakly, and gave Hatake Tsukumo an awkward but elegant smile. "Damn it. I'm going to kill you, Chizuru. Why didn't you say it earlier? I just sat down this morning. Is there anything on me?" Inozuka Goa shouted loudly. Exclamation mark. Agakimichi Ichihu, who was standing next to Inozuka Goa, vomited. What's wrong with you? Yamanaka Hiji asked hurriedly. I just ate a chicken leg. It accidentally fell on the stool. When I picked it up, I found a small black particle stuck on it. I thought it was a seasoning. I ate it. Ugh. After saying that, Akimichi Ichito ran out of the tent to vomit. Ah. So that's it. I was wondering why a bug died. I thought someone accidentally stepped on it. I didn't expect it to be eaten by him. Aburame Chizuru said with sudden realization. After such a commotion, Hatake Tsukumo was completely numb. How did Bai Yu train these guys? How come each of them is like a demon? After the fuss was over, Hatake Tsukumo told everyone in the dragon team about the mission. All the pros and cons were explained clearly. There was no concealment. After listening to Hatake Tsukumo's narration, the reaction of the dragon team was beyond Hatake Tsukumo's imagination. Every member of the dragon team had no fear on their faces. There was only excitement. That's right, it was excitement. It was as if they were not going on a mission, but going on a trip. Hey. There is no support for this mission. And there are a lot of enemies. It is very likely that we will be sacrificed. Hatake Tsukumo said angrily. If there is no support, then there is no support. What can we do? Kill one to make back the investment. Kill two to make a profit. As a brother under Beitao, how can we be cowardly? Just do it. Inozuka said disdainfully. Yes. That's it. All the dragon group ninjas instantly became enthusiastic. They looked like I will kill anyone who is there, and then come back, to eat after killing them. I still need to talk to you about this. After all, he needs to agree. Hatake Tsukumo couldn't help but sigh that the ninjas of the dragon group are really damn strong. Should I let you train the Anbu? No, there is no way. They are all loyal to Bai Yu after brainwashing. Don't finish the training and the Anbu is gone. Hatake Tsukumo instantly dissipated the thoughts that arose in his heart. Then go quickly. My sword has been thirsty for a long time. Uchiha Genji drew out the ninja sword from his waist and said impatiently. That's right. Our brothers in the dragon group have long been bored because this war is not fun. Inozuka Goa also said with his fangs showing. Okay, I'll go now. Hatake Tsukumo then rushed to Konoha. Along the way, Hatake Tsukumo was full of emotion. I always felt that the dragon group was like a howling combat unit. Should the mode of the Anbu be changed? If it is changed, will the Hokage talk to me? Well, it's so uncomfortable. I have a chance to have a good talk with Kakashi and ask him to work hard and strive to take the position of Bai Yu. Well, in this way, I will also have a chance to secretly learn from him. Haha, just kidding. How is it possible? Hatake Tsukumo had a gloomy face for a while, a helpless look for a while, a wretched smile for a while, and a secret smile for a while. The several ninjas who followed Hatake Tsukumo were very scared. They were afraid that Hatake Tsukumo would have mental problems. A ninja quietly took out a small notebook to write it down, for fear that Hatake Tsukumo would have mental problems in the future, so as to tell the doctor the time of onset as soon as possible. Hatake Tsukumo went to see Sarutobi Hiruzen first, and then went to find Bai Yu. As soon as he entered the gate of the Senju ancestral house, he saw 3 lounge chairs in the yard. Bai Yu was in the middle, with Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto on the left and right. His belly was slightly bulging, and he was fatter than before. Brother Yu, I'm here to see you. Congratulations. Hatake Tsukumo shouted carelessly. Poof. Bai Yu, who had just taken a sip of tea, spat out a mouthful of tea when he saw Hatake Tsukumo. Wasn't this guy on the battlefield? Oh my god. What do you mean? Hatake Tsukumo asked puzzledly. Aren't you on the battlefield? Why did you come to me? Is it a clone? Or is the war over? Bai Yu asked. Haha. I came here this time mainly to see you, Tsunade and Mikoto. And then I have something to discuss with you. Hatake Tsukumo said with a smile. TSK, you come here empty-handed? I'm afraid that the matter is real, and you think we are fake, right? Don't do useless things, just tell us what you have to say. Bai Yu said disdainfully, and then led Hatake Tsukumo to the stone table beside. The servant quickly brought the brewed tea. Hatake Tsukumo took a sip. Well, I suddenly don't want to say it. I think you won't agree. It's impossible to agree. Hatake Tsukumo rolled his eyes and sighed. What do you mean? With our relationship, you can tell me what to do. No matter what it is. As long as I can do it, I will do it without hesitation. Bai Yu frowned and said proudly. There is a mission that requires the dragon group. Since you agree, I will leave. Hatake Tsukumo felt a sense of joy in his heart, but he didn't show it. He said one sentence and was about to leave. But Bai Yu smelled a hint of conspiracy. Wait a minute. Tell me about the mission. Bai Yu said suspiciously. The mission is confidential. You don't know it. Hatake Tsukumo's heart sank, but he said with a smile on his face. Don't talk nonsense to me. Is the mission difficult? Tell me now. Bai Yu frowned and said. Hatake Tsukumo looked at Bai Yu's determined eyes and had no choice but to tell Bai Yu the details of the mission. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136 Uchiha Itachi. Impossible. I won't agree. Bai Yu said decisively, after listening to Hatake Tsukumo's description of the task. His tone was extremely firm and unquestionable. The members of the dragon group have all agreed, otherwise I wouldn't have come to you. Moreover, this is related to the success or failure of Konoha and the Sand Ninja and Cloud Ninja coalition. Otherwise, do you think I would come to you knowing the danger of this task? Hatake Tsukumo said solemnly at this time. Bai Yu listened to Hatake Tsukumo's words and fell into deep thought. Although he had the ability to bring the dead back to life, however, the requirements are very high. First, the corpse must be preserved well, and second, the soul is still around the corpse. The soul exists for a short time. Although I don't know whether the guy who recycles a soul is the legendary Six Paths Sage. The power I encountered that time is really powerful. I don't know if I can snatch the soul from that guy now. But the most important thing is the corpse. The corpse must be original, and the head and body cannot be separated. But Konoha! Exclamation mark. Hey, since they all agree, I have nothing to say. But you must make a good mission plan and consider every detail. Don't let my brother sacrifice in vain. Bai Yu looked into Hatake Tsukumo's eyes, concentrated for a moment, and said helplessly. Don't worry. I will. Hatake Tsukumo breathed a sigh of relief at this time, and said very sincerely. I hope the Sand Ninja and Cloud Ninja don't go too far. Otherwise, when Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto are about to give birth, don't blame me, Bai Yu, for being too cruel. Bai Yu's calm words revealed a creepy murderous intent. Well, the war is urgent. I won't stay any longer. Let's go. Hatake Tsukumo turned and left without any hesitation. Bai Yu did not move, but was thinking about the gains and losses of this mission. There are so many enemy troops, and the location of Kakayo Mountain is so important. Going deep behind the enemy without any support. I'm afraid that a lot of Dragon Group ninjas will be lost. There are less than 200 people already, and I'm afraid that this time nearly half of them will be lost. Oh, Konoha. I should have known that I would have betrayed the village with the help of Shimura Dunzo, the old goof. My heart is still not cruel enough. Bai Yu thought to himself with a bitter look on his face. Bai Yu sighed, turned around and rubbed his face, put on a smile, not wanting to worry Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto. Pretending to be nothing, he returned to the recliner. But Bai Yu underestimated women's sixth sense. Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto immediately caught the unnaturalness on Bai Yu's face. But the two women did not point it out, and Bai Yu had his reasons for not saying it. Time passed little by little. Half a year later, Bai Yu took Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto, who were pregnant, to Konoha Hospital. Because today is the day Uchiha Missy gives birth. Because the Uchiha clan made a lot of efforts in the war against the Mist Ninja, the family's location was moved back to the inner village, not far from the Konoha Hospital. And the original location of the Uchiha clan was fully built into the Konoha playground. At the door of the delivery room, Uchiha Fugaku no longer looked like the head of the clan, and walked around in circles at the door. Bai Yu was upset. Fugaku, can you sit for a while? I'm dizzy from walking. Aren't you dizzy? Bai Yu said unhappily. I'm nervous. You're not the father. I tell you, if you were the father, you'd be more nervous than me. Uchiha Fugaku said excitedly. Why are you nervous? You're responsible for manufacturing, not giving birth. TSK. Bai Yu finished speaking and was greeted with 3 pairs of resentful eyes. Ah. Haha. You're right to be nervous. You should be nervous. Bai Yu said angrily. Only then did the 3 pairs of resentful eyes fade away. Uchiha Fugaku was still walking anxiously, round and round. If this world had steps, Uchiha Fugaku would have walked over 100,000 by now. It's born. Congratulations, Mr. Fugaku. It's a boy. A medical ninja came out holding a baby that had been treated. Said happily, Itachi, my son. Uchiha Fugaku ran over and took his child tremblingly. The excitement and emotion on his face made Bai Yu feel a little excited. Come on. Let me see my godson. Bai Yu leaned over and looked at the baby curiously. Wow, the crying of the baby scared Bai Yu. A little panicked. What's going on? Do I look scary? Uchiha Fugaku was so nervous. Uchiha Makoto was also a little anxious. It's normal to cry. Babies cry loudly after birth, mainly to allow their respiratory system to enter a normal working state. It's a pity that you also know medical knowledge. You forgot this? Tsunade said calmly on the side. Ah. Haha. That's right. I forgot. I was nervous because of this kid crying. Bai Yu touched his head awkwardly and said with a smile. Can I go see Missy now? Uchiha Fugaku held the newborn Uchiha Itachi and asked nervously while looking at the medical ninja. Yes, of course. But she is a little weak now, so she needs more rest, said the medical ninja. Okay. Swoosh. Uchiha Fugaku used a body flash technique and rushed in. Oh my god. This idiot. Using the body flash technique with a child. It's very dangerous. Bai Yu cursed angrily when he saw this. Although Uchiha Fugaku seemed a little silly this time. However, everything went smoothly in the following days. A month later, Uchiha Fugaku invited Bai Yu to his home to drink Uchiha Itachi's full moon wine. Bai Yu arrived as scheduled with Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto. You are here. Come in. Missy is already in the living room. Uchiha Fugaku opened the door, saw Bai Yu and the other two, and hurriedly greeted them with a smile. After Bai Yu went in, he saw Uchiha Missy holding Uchiha Itachi. He smiled and said, Missy, you have recovered well. As a ninja, Uchiha Missy's physical fitness is naturally impeccable. After giving birth to a child, her figure has not changed at all, and she has become more mature. Fugaku still takes good care of him. Uchiha Missy also said with a smile. Uchiha Itachi laughed twice. Hey, this little guy is still laughing. Come and let the godfather see. Bai Yu heard Uchiha Itachi's laughter, and a trace of kindness appeared on his face. He quickly came over and took Uchiha Itachi from Uchiha Missy's arms. Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto keenly caught the kindness on Bai Yu's face. They looked at each other and smiled knowingly. Bai Yu must be a good father. Women, the most fearful thing is that men do not have the responsibility of being a father. It just so happens that Bai Yu is not only a qualified husband, but also a qualified father, just like the author. This is. When Bai Yu took Uchiha Itachi, his brows frowned slightly, and then hid. He felt that there was a strong yin attribute chakra in Uchiha Itachi's body. The source was in his eyes, but it was eroding Uchiha Itachi's body all the time. Although Uchiha Itachi is very young now, it is not very obvious. Because of his strong vitality, he recovers instantly after being eroded. However, as Uchiha Itachi grows older, this problem will definitely be magnified, and it may become very serious. Bai Yu pretended to be curious and looked at Uchiha Itachi, secretly checking Uchiha Itachi's body again. Chapter 137 Baiki. Baiyo. The yin attribute chakra is in the eyes. Could it be the Sharingan? Bai Yu thought of this and separated a little bit of yin attribute chakra, stimulating Uchiha Itachi's eyes. The next second, Bai Yu was stunned. Blood red eyes, a Magatama Sharingan, suddenly appeared in Uchiha Itachi's eyes. Which little bit of Bai Yu's yin attribute chakra was consumed. Moreover, Bai Yu could clearly feel that the erosion of Uchiha Itachi's body was obviously twice as strong. I seem to be in trouble? Bai Yu's mouth twitched, thinking silently. But it seems that Uchiha Itachi can still bear it. Bai Yu didn't dare to try it easily after this. No one knows all this. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Misaya, as well as Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto, were all in disbelief, staring at Uchiha Itachi's eyes in amazement. The pair of Sharingan with the symbol of the Uchiha clan. Although it was opened, Uchiha Itachi was still young, and he only felt a pain in his eyes, and the Sharingan disappeared, followed by a burst of crying! When the Sharingan disappeared, the erosion weakened again. Bai Yu quickly handed the child to Uchiha Missy. Oh my god. How is it possible? This? Uchiha Fugaku exclaimed exaggeratedly. Why? My son is a genius. How can it not be possible? Uchiha Missy coaxed Uchiha Itachi with a happy face. After hearing what Uchiha Fugaku said, she said in an extremely intriguing tone. Okay. Of course it's okay. This is also my son. It's just that I'm a little surprised. After all, it's unprecedented for the Uchiha clan to awaken the Sharingan as soon as it is born. Uchiha Fugaku explained quickly. Then Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Missy teased Uchiha Itachi with a happy face. Looking at this scene, Bai Yu was a little entangled whether to tell them about Itachi's situation. Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto noticed Bai Yu's expression. After a banquet, they return home. Honey, what's wrong with you? Why did you look so bad when you looked at Itachi today? Uchiha Makoto and Tsunade looked at each other, and Uchiha Makoto asked. Ah, you noticed it? Bai Yu was stunned when he heard it. Yes. Is there something wrong with Itachi? Tsunade asked. It's like this. Today, when I took Itachi, I felt that the child's body was shrouded in a strong yin attribute chakra from the eyes, but this yin attribute chakra has been eroding Itachi's body. I checked it, but it was fruitless. I used a little bit of yin attribute chakra to test it, and I didn't expect that the child actually opened the Sharingan. But the erosion becomes stronger as the ability of the eyes becomes stronger. About this, I really want to tell Fugaku, but seeing their happy look, I can't say it. So I'm a little entangled. Bai Yu said helplessly. Hearing this, Uchiha Makoto didn't speak, and Tsunade fell into deep thought. After a moment, Tsunade said, this should be the blood limit disease, commonly known as the genius disease. Tsunade's tone was very sure, but a little helpless. What kind of disease is this? I've only heard of it, but never encountered it. Bai Yu asked curiously. No one knows the specific situation. It can only be said that the talent is too good, and it is good to a certain extent. Everything will be reversed when it is too good, and when it is good to a certain extent, there will be disadvantages. Tsunade said helplessly. This? Should I talk to Fugaku indirectly about training a trumpet? Bai Yu said, touching his chin. What do you mean by training a trumpet? Tsunade asked puzzledly, and Uchiha Makoto also looked at Bai Yu puzzledly. It's just that the eldest son is not good, and I have another son. Bai Yu explained awkwardly. Do you think it's okay? Tsunade rolled her eyes at Bai Yu and said. Then I'll go to Uchiha Fugaku tomorrow and tell him that your son is sick. This is not appropriate. Bai Yu said helplessly. For a while, the family of 3 and the 2 unborn children fell into deep thought. There are still 5 days left before Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto give birth. Uchiha Makoto and Tsunade are already in the hospital, ready to give birth at any time. Bai Yu received 2 pieces of information. For a moment, Bai Yu's face became extremely gloomy. He hid outside the ward and did not return to the ward because as long as he went back, Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto would definitely notice that something was wrong. The first piece of information, the Battle of Kakayo Mountain began. The second piece of information, the surprise attack on Kanobi Bridge began. Both pieces of information are extremely urgent. 5 days, only 5 days left, nothing should happen. It shouldn't be, everything is still in time. Bai Yu secretly found a reason for himself, and then returned to the ward, to accompany Tsunade and Uchiha Makoto. 5 days later, Uchiha Fugaku brought Uchiha Missy and Uchiha Itachi, who had just passed 100 days old, came to the door of the delivery room. Bai Yu clenched his fists, and stood at the door of the delivery room, motionless. His waist was straight. He was trembling inadvertently. Hey. Bai Yu, why don't you sit for a while? You were so quick and clear when you were advising me. Why are you nervous now? Uchiha Fugaku said with a smug look on his face. Who said I was nervous? I just I just want to see my child as soon as possible. TSK. Bai Yu spoke a little stiffly and stuttered. Anyone who heard it knew that Bai Yu was too nervous. Uchiha Fugaku smiled and didn't point it out. Some things are just that. You can see it, but don't say it out loud. It's born. It's born. Lord Bai Yu. A boy and a girl. The boy was born first. This time, 2 medical ninjas came out. Bai Yu hurriedly took mechanical steps and moved over. Both arms were stiffly posed. Seeing Bai Yu's appearance, the medical ninja smiled gently and put the child on Bai Yu's arm. Bai Yu looked at the 2 little lives in his arms, grinned, and laughed foolishly twice. Is this my child? Bai Yu could tell at a glance that the boy looked more like Uchiha Mikoto, and the girl looked more like Tsunade. The boy's hair was a little grey, and the girl's hair was a little light yellow. Bai Yu. Bai Yu had a loving smile on his face, and he didn't dare to move his arms, for fear of disturbing the 2 little guys. Come, let Godfather see. Haha. Oh. The young man is really energetic. Uchiha Fugaku looked at Bai in Bai Yu's arms, and said with a smile. And Uchiha Misaya's eyes lit up when she saw Bai Yu with light yellow hair. This child will definitely be very beautiful when she grows up. You. Let Joa and Itachi arrange a baby marriage. Uchiha Misaya said with a smile. Let's take a look first. I'm afraid that this child has inherited Tsunade's gambling genes. If you gamble away your family again. Haha. Bai Yu was telling the truth, for fear that his daughter had inherited her mother's bad genes. It's amazing. Bai Yu seemed to understand. In Bai Yu's arms, she kept humming and her little face looked a little unhappy, and then she cried. This made Bai Yu a little flustered. However, Bai Yu was puzzled and said to himself, did this child understand? Bai, who was standing by, heard the crying next to him, stretched out a little hand and touched Bai Yu's face. These were all subconscious actions, as if he was comforting his sister. Bai shouted calmly. Strangely enough, Bai Yu really stopped crying. This scene shocked Bai Yu, Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Missy. Even Uchiha Itachi looked at the brother and sister in Bai Yu's arms curiously. Chapter 138 Nohara Danger. Just when Bai Yu was about to hold Bai and Bai Yu to go see Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto, a ninja came in a dusty state. He handed Bai Yu 2 intelligence scrolls. Looking at the look in the ninja's eyes and his dusty appearance, Bai Yu's heart skipped a beat and he didn't feel very good. Wait for me here. Bai Yu didn't take the intelligence scroll, but said to the ninja. Then he held the child and walked to Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto's delivery bed. Thank you for your hard work, Tsunade, Mikoto. Bai Yu put the child stiffly next to Tsunade and Mikoto's head. He said with a smile. The 2 children seemed to have a sense of touch and rushed closer to Tsunade and Mikoto's head. Husband, you must have something wrong. Since the time Hatake Tsukumo came to you, your face would inadvertently show some heaviness. Now it's even worse. Tsunade was a little weak. Yeah. If you have anything to do, just do it. We are fine now. Uchiha Mikoto also said with a weak smile. Hearing this, Bai Yu kissed the 2 women's foreheads gently. This time I will settle the battle in the ninja world. Wait for me to come back. Bai Yu felt relieved and said lightly with a confident and domineering smile. Tsunade and Uchiha Mikoto nodded without saying anything, but looked at Bai Yu with a smile. Bai Yu knew that she was very weak after giving birth. After Bai Yu greeted the medical ninja, he strode out of the delivery room. Give it to me. Bai Yu said to the dusty ninja. The ninja handed the scroll to Bai Yu and left. Taking the intelligence scroll, Bai Yu looked at the first one. The dragon group ninja has been lurking deep. The general attack begins. Bai Yu's face sank. Sand ninja and cloud ninja, I hope you don't go too far. Bai Yu opened the second one. The reinforcement from the rock ninja and the cloud ninja are coming very quickly. Minato is heading to the Kanabi bridge alone. Kakashi and the other 2 are attacked. Nohara has fallen into the hands of the rock ninja. Hurry up, Narashikaku. Seeing this, Bai Yu's face instantly became extremely gloomy. The murderer Sora filled Bai Yu's body. Uchiha Itachi, who was standing by, felt Bai Yu's murderer Sora and cried out. What's wrong? Uchiha Fugaku looked at Bai Yu, who looked wrong, and frowned. Something happened. Bai Yu gritted his teeth, calmed down, and handed the scroll to Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fugaku looked at the scroll and frowned. Fugaku, Misaya, help me take care of Tsunade, Makoto, Baki and Bai Yu. I'm going to the battlefield. Bai Yu looked at Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Misaya and said seriously, don't worry, leave it to me. Uchiha Misaya said firmly. Uchiha Fugaku gave Bai Yu a reassuring look. Bai Yu nodded. Then he jumped out of the window of Konoha Hospital, flying in the wind, heading straight for the direction of the Rock Ninja battlefield. Kakashi, which is more important, the mission or the companions? Lin is now being captured by the bastards of the Rock Ninja. I'm going to save her. In the dense forest, Kakashi stood on the tree, and Uchiha Obito stood on the ground. Uchiha Obito looked at Hatake Kakashi with an angry face and said, both of them had a lot of scratches on their bodies. Hatake Kakashi looked at Uchiha Obito's double Magatama Sharingan, and didn't say anything. Kakashi was very entangled at this time. Which side should he choose between the mission and the companions? You don't want to save it, right? Very good. You are worse than trash. I'll go by myself to save Lin. After Uchiha Obito roared, he left quickly, leaving behind Hatake Kakashi with a confused look on his face. Worse than trash? Why does this sentence sound so familiar? Hatake Kakashi thought to himself. A ninja who breaks the rules of ninja is trash, but a ninja who doesn't cherish his companions is worse than trash. This sentence kept ringing in Kakashi's mind as he pondered. Worse than trash? Am I worse than that idiot Uchiha Obito? Impossible. Hatake Kakashi's eyes firmed up. He chased in the direction of Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito searched while observing clues. We really caught up. 3 rock ninjas appeared in front of Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito's face sank. He didn't say anything. People die because they talk too much. Uchiha Obito always remembered what Bai Yu had said. Where is Lin? But Uchiha Obito was really worried about Lin's safety. Which little girl is it? Guess. That little girl is really beautiful. A ninja said unscrupulously to seek death. Damn it. Hearing this, Uchiha Obito was instantly furious. A flame condensed in Uchiha Obito's hand. It was a scorching flame towards the 3 ninjas. Then he pulled out a short blade with his backhand. He knew that he couldn't kill 3 Jonins with just this flame. Sure enough. Water escape, water formation wall. One of the Jonin quickly released a ninjutsu to block Uchiha Obito's flame. Uchiha Obito approached a ninja with the instant body technique. After fighting for several rounds, he was repelled by the 3 Jonins. Damn it. Uchiha Obito's face sank. Fire escape. Great fireball technique. Uchiha Obito quickly formed a seal. Released a perfect ninjutsu. Water escape. Water dragon bullet. One of the Jonin released a ninjutsu to counter Uchiha Obito's ninjutsu. The other 2 Jonins were not idle either. They approached Uchiha Obito, took out shurikens, and attacked Uchiha Obito. Humph. Firebird. Uchiha Obito observed Kakashi's Chidori with the power of the Sharingan, with his own suicidal research. Finally, a huge firebird was brought out. Although it consumes a lot of chakra, the firebird can't fly out by itself. But the power is still very good. One on the left, and one on the right. 2 huge firebirds, facing 2 Jonin. After repelling the rock ninja, Uchiha Obito quickly formed seals with both hands again. Fire escape. Great fire extinguishment. I'll kill you while you're sick. Uchiha Obito's Sharingan clearly detected the Jonin on the left, and there was no time to block it. A ninjutsu was released. Earth escape. Earth array wall. However, Uchiha Obito's ninjutsu was blocked by the Jonin who just said words to seek death. Damn it. Uchiha Obito cursed inwardly. He once again tangled with the Jonin of the Rock Ninja. But no matter what, Uchiha Obito is not a Jonin now. He is just a famous new ninja. There is still a big gap between him and Kakashi's ability at the real Jonin level. After fighting for a long time, Uchiha Obito couldn't help but breathe heavily. If it weren't for the power of the Sharingan, he would have shown signs of defeat long ago. Just when Uchiha Obito was about to fall into a disadvantage, the sound of countless birds chirping sounded. Uchiha Obito breathed a sigh of relief. This guy is finally here. Damn it, bastard, why is he so slow? He has to wait until I'm almost at my limit before showing up. Lightning release, Chidori. A blue lightning flashed across the neck of a Jonin next to Uchihiro. Lightning release, Reikari. The blue lightning turned to the Jonin behind Uchihiro on the left with an incredible arc. Kakashi appeared, completed a decapitation in an extremely chic manner, and turned around to violently kill 2 people. Kakashi's hand pierced through the Jonin's heart and appeared from behind. Chapter 139, Uchihiro tragedy. The reversal of the situation made the remaining ninja's face darken. Then he ran away without hesitation. Kakashi, I was right about you. Haha. Uchihiro stood up and said with a smile. Waste, stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and catch up. Hatake Kakashi pulled out the ninja sword that was slung over his back with his backhand and said in a cold voice. After that, Hatake Kakashi rushed out first. Damn it. Bastard Kakashi. Uchihiro complained and followed suit. A cave. The light is very dim. Nohararin's mouth was blocked by a piece of cloth. Behind Nohararin, 2 figures emerged, but the light was too dim to see clearly. But a pair of Manjaki Sharingan appeared so clear. They are almost here. Well, let's start. Little girl, become a chess piece in my hand. I will put the 3 tails in your body and make you the 3 tails Jinchuriki. When you return to Konoha, I will control you to run away and destroy Konoha. I have already set a confinement seal in your heart. Don't be lucky. When Nohararin felt the abnormality in the position of her heart, she instantly felt a huge impact on her neck and fainted. The 2 figures disappeared quietly. There is a cave over there. Rin must be in there. Uchihiro saw the cave and got excited. He suddenly accelerated. He rushed over. Asshole. Don't go. Hatake Kakashi keenly caught the trap at the entrance of the cave and shouted. But it was too late. A cold light went straight to Uchihiro neck. Uchihiro was stunned. He didn't know what to do. Uchihiro suddenly felt a huge force knocking him to the side. Puff. Ugh. The scene in front of him made Uchihiro eyes widen. A senior ninja of the Rock Ninja, holding a ninja sword, cut Kakashi's left eye. Blood flowed down Kakashi's face. Kakashi looked painful, but he was still vigilant with his right eye to pay attention to the movements of the Rock Ninja. Kakashi. Uchihiro said softly with a very complicated heart. Now is not the time to feel guilty. Pay attention to the battle. Kakashi said coldly. Uchihiro looked at Kakashi and was very touched. But it was only for a moment. Uchihiro stood in front of Hatake Kakashi. Kakashi, you bandage it. I will protect my companions. BGM sounded. The glorious back. Looking at Uchihiro's back, Kakashi was also a little touched. Just you? The last one. As Kakashi spoke, the BGM stopped abruptly. The glorious back collapsed instantly. 3 ninjas came out of the cave again. After a hard fight, a rock ninja escaped. Uchihiro helped Hatake Kakashi walk into the cave. He saw the unconscious Nohararin. Kakashi was bandaging his eyes. Although his face was covered with blood and his eyes were still dead, his trembling hands proved that Kakashi was not calm at this time. Kakashi knew very well what it meant to lose an eye, but Kakashi did not regret it. In order to save his companions, Kakashi did not regret it. Uchihiro walked to Nohararin and woke her up. Nohararin cried when she saw Obito's face. There were so many things in her heart, but she didn't know how to say them. Only crying could release her emotions. But when Nohararin saw Kakashi's eyes, she was stunned. She quickly bandaged Kakashi again. Asked what happened. Uchihiro gritted his teeth and told the situation just now. Before Nohararin could say anything. Boom. A loud noise came from the top of the cave. Damn Konoha brat. Go to hell. It was the escaped rock ninja Jonin. Retreat quickly. Get out quickly. Kakashi shouted calmly. Nohararin hadn't reacted yet. She was thrown out of the cave by Uchihiro. Kakashi's vision in one eye dropped sharply. He was a little uncomfortable. He was also blinded by the dust. Seeing this, Uchihiro gritted his teeth. His heart sank, and he pushed Hatake Kakashi out. Bang no. Although Kakashi's eyes narrowed, his ears were not deaf. The loud sound of the stone made Kakashi instantly guess something bad. He couldn't help but shout out. Kakashi rubbed his eyes. He quickly turned back to look. The cave entrance was still there. At this time, Nohararin also reacted. He quickly helped Kakashi back to the cave. Obito. Kakashi's one eye instantly captured Uchiha, who was pressed under the boulder. He shouted and tried to push the boulder away, but the boulder was so big that, even if Kakashi used all his strength, he couldn't move it at all. Don't waste your energy. Ahem. Kakashi, your gift to the Jonin is the only one I didn't give you. Uchiha said weakly with a smile on half of his face. It's okay, I don't want it. I'll save you right away. Kakashi still pushed the boulder. As Bai Yu's disciple, Nohara knew very well that in this situation, Uchiha would have no chance of survival. Tears slowly flowed out. At this moment, the memory of Uchiha, like a memory, echoed in Nohara's mind. Ha. Just right. My left eye is not broken. Just right, Rin. You helped me transplant it to Kakashi. As a gift to Kakashi as a Jonin. Uchiha said with a smile. No. I don't want it. No. Kakashi increased his strength to move the boulder like crazy. Don't waste your energy, Kakashi. I'm so happy to see you like this. You finally treat me as a companion. You know, I just can't stand your arrogant look. Haha. Uchiha words made Kakashi sit on the ground without saying a word. Rin, hurry up. I feel like I'm dying. Missing an eye has a big impact on a ninja. Let me be Kakashi's left eye. While it's hot. Haha. Uchiha optimism before his death did not make Nohara and Kakashi feel relaxed at all, but even more sad and angry. At Uchiha urging, Nohara helped Kakashi transplant his left eye with tears in her eyes. Uchiha stopped breathing with a smile. At this moment, Nohara finally understood her feelings for Obito. In the past, she was just caring for her companions. As time went by, the shadow of Uchiha had already entered her heart, but it was all too late. Kakashi and Nohara buried Obito without any dialogue, only endless sadness. Although Kakashi and Nohara did not talk, they rushed to the meeting place with Namikaze Minato in tacit understanding. Kakashi, I have something to tell you. Nohara looked at Kakashi with a complicated look in her eyes. Kakashi stopped. He felt dizzy, but Kakashi did not show it. He realized that he and the Sharingan were not compatible, but he did not care. This was the relic of his friend, and he had to carry it no matter what. Nohara told Kakashi that she had become the Three-Tails Jinchuriki, and she did not even hide the fact that she would go berserk if she returned to Konoha. Kakashi's face changed. Hurry back to Konoha. Teacher Bai Yu is in Konoha. Teacher Bai Yu must have a way. Kakashi said hurriedly. I can't go back. I will go berserk if I go back. Nohara said with a complicated look in her eyes. Then hurry up and find Teacher Minato. Teacher Minato must have a way. Kakashi said after thinking about it. Okay. Nohara's eyes lit up and she accelerated her journey again. Guess whether Uchiha is dead or not? Haha. Don't think back to the original work. This is a novel written by Mustard. Chapter 140. Obito and Madara's encounter. Hiss, it hurts. Is this the Pure Land? Uchiha felt pain in his left half. But he couldn't help but say it when he saw the dark environment around him. Ah. You woke up. White Zetsu said as he stood beside Uchiha bed. Wow, what are you? You're so weird. Has the Pure Land grown like you? Uchiha was startled and asked curiously. No, no, no. To be precise, you're not dead yet. You were saved by Madara-sama. Your left half of your body has been integrated into my genes. White Zetsu said with a big grin. What? My left half of my body has been integrated into your genes. Uchiha couldn't help but think of himself in his mind. From now on, the left half is very white, and the right half is bronze. So disgusting. Who is Madara-sama? Then Uchiha realized that the white guy in front of him was talking about Madara, and asked casually, It's me. An old voice sounded beside Uchiha. Uchiha looked at an old man who was about to be buried. His eyes, oh my god. Sharingan. You are you Uchiha Madara? It seems that I'm really dead. I didn't expect to see the ancestor. The damn guy lied to me that he was alive. But, ancestor, what is the tube behind you for? Uchiha was shocked at first, then calmed down and asked. You are indeed still alive. Even I'm still alive. If it weren't for this tube, I would have died long ago. I saved you. Uchiha Madara said. Really? Haha. Thank you so much, ancestor. But, what happened to my eyes? I remember that my right eye was clearly broken. Uchihara was happy to hear this, and then asked curiously. It's not broken, but the nerves are broken. White Zetsu has a strong recovery ability and has recovered. Uchiha said. Really? That's great. I'm going to find my companions. Thank you, ancestor. Uchiha wanted to move, but when he stood up, he found that he couldn't exert any strength in his left half of the body. You'd better not move. Your left half of the body has just been sutured, and your body still needs to adapt and recuperate. I saved you, and you just want to leave. Don't you want to repay me? Uchiha said. How do you want me to repay you? Uchiha said embarrassedly. Yes, the ancestor saved him, and if he didn't do something, it would be a bit unreasonable. My time is coming, and I don't have much time. Not a few years left. During this time, you stay here with me, Uchiha said. This. Uchiha was a little entangled when he heard it. On the one hand, he wanted to return to Lin, and on the other hand, he also wanted to repay Uchiha. It was really difficult to make a choice. HMPH, you can't get out of here. If you want to go out by yourself. The door is over there, or stay here with me. Uchiha didn't have a good temper. After saying that, he returned to his seat and fell asleep with his eyes closed. When Uchiha saw Uchiha appearance, his stubborn temper immediately came up. He rolled off the bed and fell to the ground. With a stubborn face, he crawled to the stone door like a worm. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't push the stone door open. Don't waste your energy. The stone door is blocked, but I carved a door here, just because it looks good. White Zetsu walked slowly to Uchiha and said leisurely, oh my. How are you going to get out? Don't you have to go out? Uchiha said helplessly. Is that so? White Zetsu half of his body melted into the stone door, and said to Uchiha with a smile. Don't you need to eat, drink, defecate and urinate? Uchiha said with a black line. No need. I have never excreted. Because we don't have. Bai Zetsu said with a smile, and turned to show Uchiha. Uchiha was completely speechless. He lay on the ground in a daze. Bai Zetsu put Uchiha on the bed, and said with a smile, I advise you to get familiar with this body as soon as possible and exercise it. Only in this way can you have a chance to leave here. Bai felt that what Uchiha said was right. So, after Uchiha could move simply, he began to train himself. And Uchiha would chat with Uchiha from time to time, instilling his own plans into Uchiha and brainwashing Uchiha. Unfortunately, Uchiha mind was full of Nohararin. Uchiha mouth-to-mouth was not strong enough, and the effect was very low. On the other hand, Bai Yu searched for a long time in the rock ninja battlefield, but only found some clues. And that cave. When he saw the tombstone with Uchiha name engraved inside, his heart skipped a beat. But when Bai Yu dug up the dirt, he only saw half of the body pressed under the stone. And the blood that had long dried. Bai Yu couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw this. This means that Uchiha has been rescued. Bai Yu didn't stay for long. Although he was relieved in his heart, the gloom on his face became even more intense. Following the clues, Bai Yu continued to search for the whereabouts of Nohararin and Hatake Kakashi, rock ninja, really looking for death. After many days of hard training, Uchiha finally felt that his body could be like a normal person. Such a change made him very happy. Uchiha came to the stone gate and circulated the little chakra in his body. He punched the stone gate. Pa. Uchiha left hand exploded, turned into a pool, and fell to the ground. It exploded. Oh, failed. Bai Zetsu watched the good show for a long time, and then sighed when Uchiha left hand exploded. Then he walked to Uchiha side, and cut off his left hand according to Uchiha position. Then he connected it to the position of Uchiha left hand. Uchiha returned to the bed with an expressionless face, and leaned against it, thinking about Nohararin alone. At this moment, White Zetsu's real body appeared beside Uchiha. He whispered a few words. Then Uchiha looked at Uchiha and nodded. White Zetsu's real body walked to Uchiha side. Hey, Obito, a girl named Nohararin, do you know her? I remember she seemed to be your companion. White Zetsu said with a smile. Uchiha eyes lit up, and he quickly sat up and said yes, yes, yes. How is she? I feel that she should be very happy. Many ninjas are pursuing her. They should be ninjas from the Rock Ninja. White Zetsu thought for a while and said, asshole. Damn, that's called hunting. What's the point of happiness? Where is it? Uchiha was stunned at first, and then cursed. It turns out that surrounding her with weapons is not called pursuit, but hunting. It looks like you can't hold on for much longer. Want to go? But you can't. Lord Madara won't agree. White Zetsu said meanly. He's asleep now, isn't he? Let's go quietly and come back quietly. I'm just afraid that Rin is in danger. I want to save her. Uchiha glanced at Madara with his eyes closed and whispered, oh. Doing little tricks behind Lord Madara's back. So exciting. Okay, I'll help you. Put me on. White Zetsu smiled, and then his body split in the middle. Uchiha got in without hesitation. It felt good. Uchiha felt that he was even better now than before his peak state. He quickly put on a windbreaker from the secret room next to him. Then let White Zetsu take him to Nohara-Rin's location. Chapter 141 arrived in time. White Zetsu wrapped around Uchiha, very intimately blocking Uchiha face, revealing the only right eye. Uchiha was in the woods, moving forward quickly. His heart was full of anxiety and worry, fearing that Nohara-Rin would be in danger. At this time, Namikaze Minato was also fighting fiercely at the Komubi Bridge. It was about to succeed, but he always felt uneasy in his heart. However, seeing that the mission was about to succeed and the enemy's reinforcement were coming soon, Namikaze Minato dared not be distracted. Obito, it's just ahead. The sound of fighting came from a distance. White Zetsu said to Uchiha. Uchiha felt relieved when he heard the sound of fighting, knowing that Nohara-Rin might be fine now. However, Uchiha did not take it lightly, but accelerated to the scene. Kakashi. Go away and don't worry about me. I have the three tails in my body, and I'm under a confinement curse. There is no way. Nohara-Rin dodged the enemy's hidden weapon. With complicated eyes, Kakashi Hatake shouted, while watching the fierce battle. At this moment, Kakashi Hatake fought hard, and was knocked to Nohara-Rin by the impact. Impossible. Minato teacher must have a way. If Minato teacher can't do anything, there is still Shiraha teacher. Kakashi Hatake said firmly. Kakashi raised the forehead protector on his head. The reason why the forehead protector is used to cover the Sharingan is because this method can reduce the consumption of chakra by the Sharingan. The ability of the Sharingan can perfectly control the Chidori. Lightning release, Chidori. A blue electric light quickly condensed in Kakashi's hand. The next second, when Kakashi used Chidori to attack the enemy, an extremely familiar person appeared in front of Kakashi. This person is Nohara-Rin. Kakashi's hand passed through Nohara-Rin's body, and the Chidori disappeared, and there was still the heat of blood on his hand. Why? Kakashi looked at Nohara-Rin in disbelief. For the sake of the village, I must die. I would rather die in your hands than in the hands of the enemy. Nohara-Rin looked at Kakashi, and said with a smile, then slowly closed her eyes. In her heart, she said to Obito, you fool, you have been waiting for me for a long time. I'm here. No. This scene happened to be seen by Uchiha. He couldn't believe that Kakashi actually killed Nohara-Rin. For a moment, a sense of anger and sadness deeply stimulated Uchiha-Obito's nerves. At the same time, Kakashi's left eye and Uchiha-Obito's right eye instantly turned into a Mangekyou Sharingan. Kakashi felt an unbearable stinging pain because of the change of the Sharingan, and coupled with the long battle, fatigue also came with it, and slowly fainted. Uchiha let out an uncontrollable roar. Oh my god. Fortunately, I made it in time. Collect. TSK. What is this kid thinking? Fortunately, I made it in time. A voice made Uchiha anger and sadness disappear instantly. It was Bai Yu who said this. When Bai Yu heard Chidori's voice, he thought to himself that it was not good. He hurriedly accelerated. But it was over. Scenes happened in front of Bai Yu's eyes. But fortunately, Bai Yu took it just 1 second before Nohara-Rin's soul entered the Pure Land. Damn guy. In the dark, an old man was so angry that he knocked the tin stick in his hand a few times. But Bai Yu didn't know this old man. Where did this woman come from? No matter what, brothers, kill her. A ninja from Rock Ninja saw Bai Yu appear, but did not recognize Bai Yu's name. Just looking at Bai Yu's appearance, he said disdainfully, "I'll." Bai Yu's face darkened when he heard this. Then he summoned the Bai Yu sword, pointing the sword at the ninja who had just spoken. The Bai Yu sword turned into a purple light, floating back and forth beside Bai Yu. The ninja's body was instantly separated. "Garbage," Bai Yu said contemptuously. Then he saw that Nohararin's body was about to cool down, and the three tails in his body were slowly dissipating. Bai Yu frowned, and the yin and yang power in his eyes plundered the vitality of the world for a period of 60 years. Bai Yu hit Nohararin's body, and then his right hand condensed a ball of abundant green chakra. Stick it to Nohararin's wound. But how could a rock ninja let Bai Yu treat Nohararin comfortably? Exclamation mark. Obviously impossible. In an instant, the rock ninjas howled and attacked Bai Yu. "MD garbage, so annoying," Bai Yu said impatiently. Then he pointed his left-hand sword, and the Bai Yu sword turned into a purple light again, crossing the waist of the rock ninja. I don't know if the old man Liu Dao knows that I stole his life, but I stole a soul and gave him more than 10, which should be enough. Bai Yu looked at the corpses on the ground and said something inexplicably. Then he concentrated on treating Nohararin. After a while, Nohararin's wound reappeared smooth skin. A trace of black air flashed in Bai Yu's eyes and wrapped Nohararin's soul in the yin power and hit Nohararin's spiritual platform. But it is impossible to recover instantly. Because Nohararin was saved, the three tails also stopped dissipating and entered the recovery stage. However, when Bai Yu's chakra passed through Nohararin's heart vein, he found that her heart was tampered with. What is this? Bai Yu's eyebrows, which had just stretched, wrinkled again. After checking for a long time, Bai Yu smiled disdainfully. I thought it was a king, but I didn't expect it to be a bronze. Although the curse seal is very obscure, it was discovered, just like a newborn baby. Ridiculous. Bai Yu said softly, and shook his head. Then Bai Yu circulated the chakra in his body. It's still easier to call it chakra. Everyone remember that Bai Yu's chakra is fairy chakra, enchanted spiritual language. A hidden wave in the dark passed through Nohararin's body, removed the curse seal on the heart, and slowly dissipated. Finally got it done. Bai Yu stood up and said with a breath, "White Zetsu, you rubbish, you really dare to show up? Obito, you kid, you're not dead, why don't you hurry back? I've been worried for a long time." Bai Yu looked at Uchiha Obito in the distance and said with a smile, "Bai Yu, you, humph." Baizetsu saw Bai Yu noticed this and immediately thought to himself that it was not good. He was very careful to conceal his breath. Unexpectedly, he was still discovered. Hiding his breath was useless, and now Bai Yu has telepathy. Baizetsu did not hesitate and quickly cleared Uchiha Obito's memory and then drilled into the ground. Uchiha Obito fainted. "Want to leave? Humph." Bai Yu frowned and pointed his sword. Sword control technique. The Bai Yu sword instantly turned into a 40-meter long big sword. Straight into the ground. "Bai Yu, I will come back." Baizetsu in the ground quickly split into a clone to resist Bai Yu's attack, and the main body quickly fled. Bai Yu did not chase. Instead, he walked to the unconscious Uchiha Obito. Put the three people together. Catch some game, and make a fire. Lean comfortably on the meat. Wait for the three people to wake up. Chapter 142. Bai Yu treats Uchiha Obito. HMM. What a nice smell. Can people still eat after they die? HMM. Bai Yu sensei. Kakashi. This is Obito. How come they are all dead? Woo woo. Nohararin opened her eyes and looked around. She found Hatake Kakashi and Uchiha Obito lying on the ground, and Bai Yu who was grilling meat. When she saw Bai Yu, she thought she might not be dead yet. But when she saw Uchiha Obito, all her beliefs collapsed. "I'm dead." She burst into tears for a while. Oh my god. Nohararin's crying scared Bai Yu. The grilled meat in her hand almost fell into the fire accidentally. It was this crying that woke up Hatake Kakashi and Uchiha Obito. "Xiaolin, why are you crying?" Bai Yu said helplessly. "Woo woo. They are all dead. They are all dead. Woo woo." Nohararin said in a breakdown. "Who said they are all dead?" They are still alive. Bai Yu said with a smile. Look. Obito is here. He's obviously dead. The right half of his face was smashed, and it became like this after he died. Nohara-rin pointed at Uchiha Obito, who was confused, and said. After that, he continued to cry. Uchiha Obito heard this and grinned helplessly. I. Pointing at his face, he didn't know what to say, and gave him the feeling of a bitter sand blowing on his face. Originally, Hatake Kakashi was very happy when he opened his eyes and saw Nohara-rin crying, especially when he saw Bai Yu. He was very excited. Hearing Nohara-rin's words, he looked at Uchiha Obito, who appeared, and his heart sank to the bottom in an instant. Seeing the scene of corpses and debris all over the ground, the feeling of Pure Land gradually magnified for a while. He lowered his head and didn't speak. I'm not dead, Uchiha Obito said faintly. His mood was extremely complicated. Nonsense, you're smashed like that, how can you not be dead? Nohara-rin said in disbelief, and the tear-stained face made people feel distressed. Obito, this kid is really not dead. If you don't believe it, listen to his heartbeat. You are also a medical ninja, this should be okay. Bai Yu said helplessly. Really? Nohara-rin said suspiciously. But his actions were still very honest. First, he touched Kakashi Hatake beside him, and there was a heartbeat. A glimmer of hope flashed in Nohara-rin's eyes. Then he touched Bai Yu, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. He ran towards Uchiha Obito at a rapid speed. Great. Obito, you are not dead. Nohara-rin braked suddenly, stopped in front of Uchiha Obito, and said with a smile. Uchiha Obito's hugging gesture, which had just been raised, stopped abruptly. The corners of his mouth twitched twice. Rin, why don't you touch me? Uchiha Obito asked angrily. Teacher Bai Yu and Kakashi are not dead. That proves that we are not dead. Why touch the heartbeat? Nohara-rin asked, puzzled. Okay. Uchiha Obito silently retracted his open arms and said faintly. Then, Bai Yu divided the roasted meat among the three people. They had a feast after the disaster together. Obito, since you are not dead, why don't you come back to find me and Kakashi? After eating the food, Nohara-rin looked at Uchiha Obito and asked. I was rescued. I can't get out of here. Uchiha Obito said with difficulty. Who rescued you? Why can't you get out? Nohara-rin asked again. I can't remember it. I only know that I was rescued. I can't remember anything else. Uchiha Obito tried hard to think, but he couldn't remember it anyway. Okay. It should be that the memory has been erased. If people don't want to be known, there is no need to make it public. If there is a chance to know in the future, Obito will thank you then. Bai Yu said with a smile on his face, and in his heart he secretly cursed Uchiha Madara for what he was doing. Yes, I know, teacher. Although Uchiha Obito said this, his face was not very good. What's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? Nohara-rin asked with concern. No. Uchiha Obito lost one eye, and the right half of his face looked older. However, Bai Yu could still guess that Uchiha Obito was troubled by his current appearance. Obito, come here. Xianlin, go away. Bai Yu said with a smile. Why should I avoid it? Nohara-rin asked curiously. If you don't want to see something filthy, then you can avoid it. After Bai Yu finished speaking, he looked at Uchiha Obito inexplicably. Nohara-rin blushed and instantly realized that Bai Yu might have to perform surgery without clothes if he wanted to treat Uchiha Obito. The next second, he hid behind a rock. Obito, take off your clothes. Bai Yu said to Uchiha Obito. Take off your clothes. Uchiha Obito was a little embarrassed. After all, there was Hatake Kakashi next to him. Moreover, he knew his left half of his body well, and the white part was indeed a little disgusting. Moreover, where was he? Moji. Bai Yu's sage mode appeared instantly. Several sword energies cut all of Uchiha Obito's clothes into pieces without hurting Uchiha Obito. Bai Yu looked at the black and white body. His heart was chilled. This child must have been in pain at that time. Bai Yu pressed several acupuncture points around Uchiha Obito's only Sharingan. Block the blood flow and the pain. Take off Uchiha Obito's eyes. Hiss. Hatake Kakashi, who was in the gang, couldn't help but take a breath of cold air when he saw this scene. It hurts so much! Exclamation mark. Use chakra to wrap the Sharingan. Floating in the air. A sword energy in the left hand cut Uchiha in half. Perfectly peel off the white part. Then the right hand released rich green chakra. This is the limit of the healing technique. I saw that half of Uchiha body began to react. The blood red pieces of meat, like worms, spread and wriggled a little bit. Slowly, the bones also grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Time passed little by little. Because it was only half of the body, the chakra consumed was also very large. Even Bai Yu was now soaked, just like a sauna. Silver hair stuck to his face. His eyes were extremely serious and solemn. Hatake Kakashi just watched quietly, his eyes full of shock. Is this operation really achievable by human power? How strong is teacher Bai Yu? He can fight, can be a tank, can do long-range operations, and more importantly, can cast spells and heal blood. Bai Yu is so powerful. In the eyes of Hatake Kakashi, Uchiha was like reborn, and the lost half of his body was restored little by little. After repairing the most critical part of the man, Bai Yu added some life to Uchiha and then pressed the Sharingan in. By the way, he lifted the heart's imprisonment seal. After a long time, the green chakra that enveloped Uchiha gradually receded. Uchiha slowly fell to the ground. Kakashi, help Obito put on some clothes. I have to go to rest. Bai Yu brushed the long hair that was stuck to his forehead, and his lips were a little pale. After saying that, he went to the side to perform the Bai clan's great method. Hatake Kakashi nodded. He took out a spare ninja uniform from his backpack and put it on Uchiha. Hatake Kakashi wanted to call Nohara over, but he saw Nohara sleeping. Kakashi had no choice but to sit on a large rock nearby and be alert to the surroundings. After all, this was the place where the battle was taking place. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 Compulsory Eye Buckling. Master Madara, this is the situation. White Zetsu returned to the underground dark room and reported the situation to Uchiha Madara. Bai Yu, find another suitable candidate for the plan. Uchiha Madara pondered for a while and said coldly. After that, he closed his eyes. White Zetsu's figure gradually disappeared. In the early morning, Nohara woke up. Seeing Hatake Kakashi on the big rock, he hurriedly asked, what's wrong? Bai Yu teacher has finished treating Obito. The teacher is resting, and this guy's in a coma. Hatake Kakashi said. Ah. It looks like the teacher is exhausted. Nohara looked at Bai Yu who was sitting quietly in the distance, and said with concern. Yes. The teacher's operation process is very simple. But the consumption of chakra is extremely huge. With the teacher's personality, he can't help but rest in front of us. You can imagine how serious the consumption is. Kakashi said calmly. Well, leave the vigilance to me. You also go to rest. Nohara keenly caught a trace of fatigue in Kakashi's eyes. He said caringly. Well, Oklahoma. Kakashi didn't waste any words. He walked directly to Uchiha. Uchiha was lying on a clean stone at this time. Kakashi kicked Uchiha aside in a bad mood. He fell to the ground. Then he lay on the stone with satisfaction and fell asleep soon. Uchiha was awakened by this. He was startled. Seeing his position, he knew that he was kicked by Kakashi. Damn it. Uchiha was about to kick back, but saw that Kakashi was already asleep. He looked at Bai Yu who was meditating in the distance and knew that this guy must have been guarding all night. He sighed and retracted his raised foot. But the next second, Uchiha noticed that his arm had returned to normal. There was an extremely excited and happy flash in his eyes. He looked in the direction of Bai Yu with gratitude. It was just that the sight of one eye made him a little unaccustomed. Especially in broad daylight, he could only see half of the environment. But Uchiha didn't have any thoughts, because he was very lucky that his body could return to normal. Moreover, now Uchiha feels that his body is simply incomparably strong. No nonsense, just sit on the ground to refine chakra. Strive to recover to the peak state. In the afternoon, Uchiha, Kakashi and Nohara were already chatting enthusiastically. as if they had forgotten that they were on the battlefield. And Bai Yu finally recovered. Bai Yu felt the condition of his body. It can be regarded as a blessing in disguise. The recultivated chakra is more pure. Looking at the three teenagers who were still chatting enthusiastically over there, Bai Yu smiled slightly, did not disturb them, but flew to find a water source. Plop. Bai Yu fell directly into it with a free fall. After washing, Bai Yu used chakra to evaporate the water, refreshed and returned to the three teenagers. What are you talking about? So lively. Bai Yu's sudden appearance. The three of them were shocked. Chidori. Firebird. Swoosh. Nohara-in was more direct and stabbed Bai Yu with a shuriken. It's me. Bai Yu said helplessly with a dark face, holding Nohara-in's shuriken. Teacher Bai Yu. Sorry. Nohara-in blushed and quickly put away the shuriken. Kakashi and Uchiha Obito also silently retracted their chakra. Not bad. Alertness is okay. I thought you were just busy chatting. Bai Yu said with a smile. How could it be? Staying alert is ingrained in my bones. Uchiha Obito has now returned to the state of Pikachu back then, and said very proudly. Really? At some point, Bai Yu's shadow clone stood behind Uchiha Obito and said faintly. Teacher. Uchiha Obito felt the chill on his neck and said weakly. Okay. But, Obito, are you going to transplant your Sharingan into Kakashi's eyes? Bai Yu could clearly sense Kakashi's current situation. The chakra in the body has been consumed by the Sharingan, which is a big obstacle to Kakashi's future. Teacher, my Sharingan can make up for Kakashi's lightning release Chidori, and this is my gift to Kakashi as a Jonin. Uchiha Obito said firmly. Kakashi, what do you think? Bai Yu looked at Kakashi and asked. Teacher, I hope to return it to Obito. After all, it is his eye. This gift is very precious. If Obito goes, I can accept it. This is his last wish. But now he is back. I have to return it. The Sharingan is very important to the Uchiha clan. Kakashi thought about it and said solemnly. Bullshit. How can something that my uncle Obito gave away be returned? What a joke. Before Uchiha Obito could say another few bold words, he was restrained by Bai Yu's big neck. First, this gift is not suitable for Kakashi. Kakashi's Sharingan consumes a lot of chakra in his body, which will have a great impact on his future development. The golden period of a ninja's promotion is so short. If it is consumed so much by the Sharingan, it will be equivalent to an obstacle to Kakashi's growth. Second, I know that this is a bond of friendship between you and Kakashi, but there are many such bonds. Why must it be the Sharingan? Third, there are many Sharingans. I can ask Fugaku to exchange a Sharingan that matches you from the Uchiha clan, but this thing is better to be original. This Sharingan can only play the greatest role on you. Kakashi now only regards this eye as an auxiliary, and the ability contained in it cannot be used. Even if it can be used, it will consume a lot of chakra. You have to think clearly about the pros and cons. Bai Yu said earnestly. No, teacher. This is a gift from me to Kakashi. I can't take it back. Uchiha Obito said stubbornly. Damn it, immobilized. Bai Yu impatiently used the divine spell to immobilize Uchiha Obito and Hatake Kakashi. After sealing Hatake Kakashi's pain and blood, he roughly took out his eyeballs, stuffed them into Uchiha Obito's eyes. Then he put his hands, one hand on Kakashi's eyes, and the other hand on Uchiha Obito's eyes. Sharingan cannot be generated, so Bai Yu can't copy a Sharingan. But Bai Yu can still regenerate ordinary eyes. This is the effect of Yang attribute chakra being brought to the extreme. After a long time, after everything was done, Bai Yu retracted the chakra. Release. Bai Yu shouted coldly. Kakashi opened the regenerated eye, and after Uchiha Obito's eyes flashed the pattern of the Manjaki Sharingan, they also quickly disappeared, and Nohara-in was stunned. Such a bloody, violent, and direct operation is simply unheard of. You little brat. I'm telling you, even if you secretly swap your eyes with Kakashi's, if I find out, and you hide away at the ends of the earth, I will dig your eyes out, and swap them back. Humph. Bai Yu said to Uchiha Obito domineeringly. Uchiha Obito sat on the ground with a pouty mouth, sulking as if he had been humiliated 1,000 times. Chapter 144, Sand Ninja Battlefield. However, Bai Yu's approach was right. Uchiha Obito knew this very well, but this was the only precious gift he could offer now. At this point, Uchiha had a headache. What gift should he give to Hatake Kakashi? Well, alright. You three are safe. I'm relieved. Now I should go to the Sand Ninja battlefield. Bai Yu smiled at the three people and said, "So Teacher Bai Yu came here specifically to support us?" Noharalin said with emotion. "Otherwise, how do you think I would appear here? And so timely. This time, I will stop the war with force. Not much to say. Let's talk after the war is over. I'm leaving." Somehow, Bai Yu suddenly wanted to shout, "I'm leaving too." Bai Yu smiled slightly and flew away. Seeing Bai Yu flying away, the three were shocked again. Only the Sand Ninja's Sand style and that Sachikage's Dust style can fly in the air with human power, right? The teacher's strength has improved again. Hatake Kakashi said with emotion. HMPH. One day, I will fly on the back of the Firebird. Lin, I will take you with me then. Uchiha said with confidence that rose from nowhere. Noharalin looked at Uchiha confident face, smiled slightly and said nothing. Lin, I don't recommend you to go with him. This last place guy is likely to burn himself. Kakashi said leisurely. Damn it, you bastard. Uchiha was furious when he heard this, followed by a series of curses, but Kakashi didn't say a word from beginning to end, but looked at Uchiha with contempt, and a pair of unruly dead fish eyes proved everything. Noharalin looked at this familiar scene, smiled nostalgically, and surprisingly did not stop them. After a long time, Noharalin skillfully helped Uchiha bandage his face that was swollen by Kakashi's kick. Kakashi looked into the distance with disdain, and the aura of forcing the king was undoubtedly revealed. Kikayo Mountain, a material fortress. This fortress is very strong. The surroundings were built into high walls with earth escape techniques. There was only one city gate, and the city gate was also made of sand iron. At this time, after the dragon group fought desperately, the owner has changed. There are only 150 people left in the dragon group. In addition to the 8 people in the dragon group who are facing the main force of the support force head on, the rest of the people formed a combat squad to fight against the reinforcement that were attacking from all sides. At this time, there was no fatigue on the faces of everyone in the dragon group. No fear, only endless blood, only infinite fighting spirit. Blood, mud, every ninja in the dragon group is like a warrior in hell. The knife fell with his hand, and there was no mercy in his eyes. The ninjutsu that came out at will take the life of the enemy. The main battlefield of the Sand Ninja is also under battle. The purple snake roamed in the Sand Ninja army. Puppets all over the sky. Not only Chiyo performed this puppet technique, the puppet army also fought against the ninjas of Konoha in an orderly manner. From time to time, there would be a white light on the battlefield. Whenever the light appeared, a certain number of Sand Ninjas would die. Fire style. Toad Oil Flame Bomb. Jiraiya actually appeared on the battlefield of the Sand Ninja, cooperating with Gamabunta to perform this powerful wide-range group attack ninjutsu. Yes, Baking Cheng is on the battlefield of the Cloud Ninja. With the current strength of those two black boys, they are not to be feared. Although Jiraiya is usually unreliable, he is very reliable at critical moments. Magnetic style. Sand mat. Magnetic style. Gold sand. Suddenly, a strange force emerged. A man, with his feet on a ball of gold sand, floated in the air. With his hands forward, he controlled a large amount of gold sand, attacking the Konoha ninjas. For a while, buried many of them. It's Lord Rasa. Lord Rasa. The morale of the Sand Ninjas who were killed was gradually low. Seeing Rasa's generosity and power, for a while, their morale rose sharply. Magnetic style. Gold sand burial. As Rasa cruelly clenched his hands, the Konoha ninja who had just been buried in the golden sand was immediately crushed into pieces by the golden sand. Blood gushed out, and the golden sand suddenly had a hint of blood and a red luster. With the addition of Rasa, the pressure on the Konoha ninja suddenly increased. Fire escape. Big flame bomb. Jiraiya made Gamabunta jump, and with his powerful jumping ability, he instantly appeared near Rasa. A fierce flame sprayed at Rasa. Magnetic escape. Golden sand wall. Rasa's eyes shrank slightly, and he waved his left hand. A tall sand wall appeared in front of Rasa. Blocked Jiraiya's ninjutsu. Jiraiya and Rasa started fighting. With Jiraiya's restraint, the pressure on the Konoha ninja was reduced to an acceptable range. But there will always be Konoha ninjas swallowed by the golden sand inadvertently, turned into slag. Hatake Tsukumo. At this time, Hatake Tsukumo just came to Chiyo, who was killing the Konoha ninja with a body flash technique. As the saying goes, enemies are particularly jealous when they meet. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When Chiyo saw Hatake Tsukumo's somewhat weathered face, her face flushed, and her eyes turned red. Note that she was not shy, but was emotionally excited. At this moment, Chiyo wished she could chop Hatake Tsukumo into pieces, and then train Hatake Tsukumo into a living puppet. Who are you? Are you interested in me? Sorry, I'm not interested in old ladies. Hatake Tsukumo didn't know what was wrong with him. He might have been infected with the bad mouth habit by Bai Yu. He said it very straightforwardly. It was as if he was rejecting a sweeter. Damn it. Bai's secret technique, the Tenkinmatsu people. Puppetry manipulation of the blade. Chiyo was completely crazy. He used puppetry techniques with his left and right hands. The Konoha ninjas around Chiyo were instantly controlled. With the addition of Bai's secret technique, Hatake Tsukumo's mouth twitched. Women are really scary. However, who is Hatake Tsukumo? He is not afraid at all. Snakeskin movement. Bypassing the controlled Konoha ninja, he tangled with the puppet controlled by Chiyo. It seems that Hatake Tsukumo consumed a lot, but in fact, Hatake Tsukumo is an old man, and he has long known how to save physical strength and chakra. Moreover, Hatake Tsukumo has long learned inch power from Bai Yu, and how to use chakra to restore physical strength. Chiyo consumed more. Puppetry not only requires extremely strong control to maintain fine chakra threads, but also to control the stable output of chakra. Not only the consumption of chakra, but also the consumption of mind is huge. But Chiyo, who is in a frenzy, doesn't care about this. As long as she can kill Hatake Tsukumo, Chiyo can pay any price. Hatake Tsukumo must die. However, the experienced Hatake Tsukumo is like a snake, not in a hurry, and he fights the enemy while being naughty. There is also a trace of artificial comfort on his face. This makes Chiyo a little crazy. Sure enough, there's a reason why Bai Yu has such a high bounty. I don't know what evil things Bai Yu has done. The black market bounty is so high. Hehe. Hatake Tsukumo began to secretly guess why Bai Yu had such a high bounty. However, Hatake Tsukumo immediately suffered the consequences of distraction. He almost cut off Chiyo's offspring by accident. Oh my god, you old lady. You're so cruel. Hatake Tsukumo took a breath and complained. Keep fighting the enemy seriously. Chiyo was so angry at the old lady that the veins on her forehead were about to burst. Chapter 145. Shocking changes. Bai Yu, who was flying rapidly in the sky, knew that if he wanted the dragon group to be relieved quickly, he had to put pressure on the front battlefield. Only in this way could most of the Sand Ninja and Cloud Ninja troops go to the front battlefield. The material fortress is important, but if the general attack is breached, the material fortress will not be so important. So this battle is an extremely powerful battle for Konoha. If it succeeds, the battlefield will be taken down, and if it fails, the material fortress will be destroyed. But Bai Yu doesn't want to destroy the material fortress, because once he does so, it means that the dragon group will be completely wiped out. No. If this goes on, when can I go to the casino to play? According to the intelligence, everyone seems to be launching a general attack, right? Baking Cheng thought to himself, while sitting in the tent. What's the point of everyone launching a general attack? It's just the Sand Ninja who launched the general attack, and the Rock Ninja battlefield just cut off the transportation line. It's not that they just want to go out and play. Come on. Order, launch a general attack. Baking Cheng thought for a long time, frowned, and looked serious, as if Wu Zishan was alive. All parties surged. In the 3 battlefields, except for the Rock Ninja battlefield, all of them started fighting. Lord Drakeage. Intelligence has come from the battlefield. Bai Yu's sister Baking Cheng launched a general attack. Should we continue? At this time, the Raikage knew that the chances of winning Konoha in this battle were slim. So he decided to launch a surprise attack on the Rock Ninja. After all, you can't come back empty-handed after one trip. Even if you don't make a fortune, you can't lose money. with a small army, in a few days, quickly and secretly lurked in the dense forest on the edge of the rock ninja village. But at this time, a ninja came from behind with an anxious face to report the intelligence. Tell AI, if you can't win, retreat as soon as possible. The Reikage knew AI's character. No matter how strong the enemy is, he must fight. After thinking about it, he asked the ninja to send back the message. Yes. Everyone continue. At the command of the Reikage, all the ninjas once again approached the rock ninja village. Cry me Yalu, you bastard. Hey, big brother, this time a woman really comes. And she's very beautiful. Yo, I'm so moved. Yo-hoo. Bang. Catcha. Boom. Accompanied by a weird rap from Kirabi. AI didn't say anything nonsense, but looked at Kirabi coldly. With a straight punch, Kirabi was blown away, and stopped after breaking a big tree. Hiss. The love from big brother. Hey, it hurts a little. Yo-hoo. Kirabi said without daring to breathe, and then walked back to AI weakly, looking at Baking Cheng floating in the sky. Fortunately, Baking Cheng was wearing pants at this time. You are the sister of that woman Bai Yu. You are a spirit. The two armies faced each other, and AI shouted with his neck tilted back. Are you two brothers black coal balls that turned into spirits? One of you turned into a spirit after being burned through, and the other turned into a spirit after not being burned through? Your teeth are so big. They are all sticking out. Your name is AI. AI Dea? The one with the glasses. You want to compete? Glasses competition? Why are all of you cloud ninjas black coal balls? Also black? Although being black is healthy. You are too dark, aren't you? Wouldn't you be scared at night? Two eyes and a mouth full of teeth are floating. Why are you trembling? Did I get it right? Are you really black coal balls that turned into spirits? The two black coal balls opposite you are still too naive to talk to me. The appearance of Baking Cheng taught the two brothers the most important lesson in life. That is, no matter what time, never play words with women. You are likely to be embarrassed by what you say. Bagalu, Kumialu, this woman has a vicious mouth. I'm not moved by the competition. Yoho. Yep. Kirabi's forehead veins were bulging, but he still spoke weirdly. This time, AI did not hit Kirabi, but nodded to him solemnly. To show his approval. Lightning armor. AI had a gloomy face, and did not speak, but used the signature skill of the Reikage, the lightning armor. And Kirabi also drew out his ninja sword, and in an instant, the ninja sword began to vibrate with a buzzing sound. This is Kirabi's ninjutsu supersonic shock thunder blade. Injecting lightning chakra to enhance the sharpness of the sword. Using lightning to trigger high frequency vibration waves, so that it has a penetrating power that exceeds wind escape. AI is the most talented candidate for the Thunder Shadow. Needless to say, in terms of strength. In the research of the Thunder Armor, although it is not comparable to the third generation of Thunder Shadow, its speed is comparable to the first in the ninja world. Of course, since the rise of Minato Namikaze, who is the fastest ninja in the ninja world, it remains to be verified. AI turned into a blue lightning and rushed into the Konoha troops. Kirabi was not to be outdone, relying on his perfect control of the Eight Tails, and also began to fight Konoha. The battle was about to start. Baking Cheng saw this and turned into his original form, a giant white dragon. Yahoo! Big brother, that woman turned out to be Bai Yu's summoned beast. Yeo Kirabi shouted in surprise. Idiot. That's a spirit. AI shouted and threw himself into the battle again. Juenai Uleili hot knife. With the cooperation of AB brothers, the battle situation was somewhat unfavorable to Konoha. Damn black coal ball. A roar like rolling thunder came out of Baking Cheng's mouth. And asterisk in Baking Cheng's dragon eyes flashed a trace of seriousness. The dragon mouth uttered a paragraph of words that the natives could not understand. This was dragon language. Baking Cheng was going to activate the ability of the Dragon Clan's secret technique. With Baking Cheng's secret technique activated, in the sky, a large range of cold ice cones fell. Under Baking Cheng's control, the ice cones fell on the body of the Konoha ninja and turned into an ice armor. And when they fell on the cloud ninja, they penetrated directly. The bright red blood dyed the ice cones red. The style of painting changed. The ice cones that made the cloud ninjas afraid to dodge in time. The Konoha ninjas rushed to touch them. But it's not the fault of the Konoha ninjas. as long as they have ice armor, although it's a bit cold, as long as they don't hit the Abi brothers. Physical attacks are basically ineffective, unless they are hit by ninjutsu. But who is stupid, can't they move? For a while, the bronze faces of the Abi brothers darkened by 3 shades. The battle is still going on, but under Baking Cheng's output, the scales of victory tilted towards Konoha a little bit. AI is not a reckless man. The heart is completely different from the appearance. Decided immediately, retreat. Kiribi knew the intelligence order from the 3rd generation of Reikage, so he didn't hesitate, and retreated directly with the bee and the remaining cloud ninjas. Baking Cheng saw this scene and quickly ordered a chase. It didn't stop until the border of the Fire Country. Under Baking Cheng's divine power, the Cloud Ninja battlefield was liberated. The victory report was sent back to Konoha village overnight. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face was as bright as a chrysanthemum with a smile. But in a few days, a major incident occurred in the Iwagakure. The 3rd Reikage who raided the Iwagakure was killed. What the 3rd Reikage didn't expect was that the old Fox Inoki had hidden nearly 10,000 troops in the Land of Earth. The 3rd Reikage fought for 3 days and 3 nights to cover the retreat of the Kumogakure ninjas and died of exhaustion. However, this incident happened to help Minato Namikaze. The Kanabi bridge was blown up. The Iwagakure battlefield immediately surrendered. At this time, Bai Yu also rushed to the Sanjakure battlefield. Chapter 146. One Tail and 4 Tails appear at the same time. TSK, TSK, TSK. This scene is really spectacular. Bai Yu floated in the air, watching the battlefield below with interest. At this moment, Eluosha's 3rd eye keenly noticed Bai Yu in the sky. Magnetic escape. Golden sand waves. Eluosha waved his hand, and a wave-like sand pile quickly surged from the ground, attacking Bai Yu in the air. Oh my god. You are really rude. Bai Yu drew out the Bai Yu sword from his waist. Sage mode appeared. The long silver hair fluttered behind his head without wind. The dark purple sword energy offset Eluosha's ninjutsu. Oh my god. Lord Bai Yu. Lord Bai Yu is here. Cloud Ninja, you are useless. Lord Bai Yu is here. Ibizo, send reinforcement. Go quickly. Chiyo also noticed the collision in the sky at this time. He quickly distanced himself from Hatake Tsukumo. Then he said seriously to Ibizo. Ibizo nodded and disappeared quietly. The battlefield was separated again because of the appearance of Bai Yu. The 2 armies confronted each other. Bai Yu, you finally showed up. We have already developed a plan to deal with you. Haha. Chiyo looked at Bai Yu and laughed wildly. Bai Yu looked at Chiyo. He made a SILLY * sound with his mouth. Send the 1-tailed Jinchuriki and the 4-tailed Jinchuriki to fight Bai Yu. Chiyo said calmly, suppressing the anger in her heart. As soon as Chiyo finished speaking, the 2 ninjas beside her went to execute the order. Chiyo was about to say something to make herself occupy the moral high ground, but Bai Yu didn't give her a chance to speak at all. He directly called out to the sand ninja with a Zainfa, Thunderfall. What embarrassed Eluosha was that metal conducts electricity. With the sand gold, even the sand ninja standing in the corner was a little paralyzed. But the advantage is that the conduction speed of thunder is extremely fast, and the attack power is reduced a lot. The battle song started. The war broke out again. People die because they talk too much nonsense. This is the truth that Bai Yu has summed up after watching many TV dramas and animations. So try not to quarrel if you can take action. Eluosha is very smart. In order to prevent Bai Yu's thunder escape immortal method, spread the golden sand all over the battlefield. However, Bai Yu looked at Eluosha with dark circles under his eyes. He smiled disdainfully. Do you know the 5 element? Do you understand the principle that fire overcomes gold? Bai Yu had an idea in his mind. Sword control technique. Sword rain. Fall. Bai Yu flew over the battlefield with the wind. The dark purple Bai Yu sword suddenly split into countless sword shadows. Like a violent storm, it cut down countless sand ninjas. Sword control technique. 1 key into 3 purities. Chase. Bai Yu pointed his right hand sword, and the sword shadows like sword rain suddenly merged into 3 long swords. Rasha, Chiyo, and the newly appeared Ibizo were caught off guard. However, everything has its pros and cons. The attack power of sword control is very strong. but the consumption of chakra is also very intense. It is an explosive skill. After a set of attacks, more than half of the chakra is consumed. Bai Yu will naturally not be so reckless. Recalling the Bai Yu sword, Bai Yu in the sage mode, the chakra of the fire and thunder attribute is even more dazzling. Together with Hatex Akumo, two rays of light, one white and one purple, lit up the entire battlefield. However, Hatex Akumo's route was an assassination route, a one-hit kill. He would run after the kill. And Bai Yu was a domineering harvester route. Wherever he passed, corpses were torn apart, leaving no one alive. The fear of the return of the god of death lingered in the hearts of every sand ninja. Bai Yu, I smell your breath. Let me kill you quickly. Only then can I relieve the hatred in my heart. A roar full of hatred sounded from the left rear of the sand ninja. Shukaku simply showed his true form, shouted and began to condense the tailed beast ball. For a moment, no matter the sand ninja Konoha, they all began to think that it was not good. Shukaku's current appearance was the same as after he went berserk, and there was only one thought in his mind, that was to kill Bai Yu. Kill him. Torture him. Crush him with sand. To make Shukaku so angry, it seems that this Bai Yu is not easy to deal with. Laozi. Not far from Shukaku, stood an uncle wearing a rock ninja forehead protector and a trendy rose red hair color. Laozi is the four-tailed Jinchuriki of the rock ninja village. In order to deal with Bai Yu, the sand ninja and the rock ninja had already arranged the Jinchuriki together. Prevent Bai Yu from launching a general attack. As long as Bai Yu appears on the battlefield of the general attack, the Jinchuriki will be sent to participate in the battle. This is equivalent to using nuclear weapons. But how can Bai Yu, who is comparable to a sci-fi weapon, be defeated by nuclear weapons? Exclamation mark. Bai Yu unhurriedly released his iron jutsu, Fire Flame, towards Alyosha, melting Alyosha's gold sand into liquid. Running towards the tailed beast power bank. There are still two. The excited Bai Yu couldn't help but speed up a little. For a while, the appearance of two-tailed beast Jinchuriki dealt a blow to the morale of the Konoha ninjas. In their cognition, the power of the tailed beast is strong and invincible. Only the first generation of Hokage has the ability to beat the tailed beast. However, there are Hatex Akumo, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya to take the lead. Although the Konoha ninjas' hearts sank, their will to fight was not worn out. Shukaku, you little cat. I said it before. If you dare to appear in front of me, I will kill you. Why, you are so anxious to die just after resurrection. Bai Yu laughed sarcastically. I see. No wonder Shukaku hates Bai Yu so much. It turns out that he was killed by Bai Yu before. Laozi, hurry up. Shukaku's strength is not weak. Even he felt a Bai Yu. Bai Yu must be very strong. The four-tailed beast said in Laozi's body. Well, I know. Although Laozi has a very stubborn personality, he has to be very alert when it comes to life and death. Melting chakra mode. As Laozi's chakra emerged, his whole body seemed to be wrapped in a layer of magma. Extremely hot. Swoosh. Shukaku condensed the tailed beast ball and sprayed it towards Bai Yu. The speed was not very fast, but Bai Yu had to take it. Because behind him was the Konoha ninja army. I can dodge it, but after dodging it, countless Konoha ninjas will surely be killed or injured. It is not difficult for Bai Yu to take on a tailed beast ball. Bai Yu's body exploded. Then he volleyed it. Just like kicking a football. Bang. Kick the tailed beast ball into the sky. The tailed beast ball exploded, just like fireworks, but the color was not so bright. Lava release, burning river rock technique. Laozi on the side seized the opportunity, and at the moment, when Bai Yu's old strength was exhausted, and new strength was coming, he sprayed multiple magma balls at Bai Yu. Bai Yu narrowed his eyes, and was hit by the magma ball. But it was just an afterimage. As the teacher of Shunshinshisu, if he can't even dodge this, then there is no point in mixing. Bai Yu just changed his mind at the moment, when he suddenly realized that he didn't see Uchiha Shisu. He frowned. Could it be that he went to Kikyo Mountain? Exclamation mark. Bastard Hatex Akumo! Exclamation mark. After fooling my brothers, you fooled my apprentice. I will settle accounts with you after the war. Bai Yu's face darkened, and he quickly slashed out several purple sword energies to attack Laozi. Bai Yu himself approached Shukaku. Chapter 147. The war is over. People. An old man who is still alive is a thief. This is talking about old foxes like Inoki. He learned that Bai Yu was in the Sand Ninja battlefield. And the Cloud Ninja battlefield had ended. Without hesitation, he directly ordered to return to the village quickly. He was afraid that Bai Yu would come here for a while, and who knows when the Sand Ninja battlefield would end. After all, he had cheated Bai Yu's apprentice. He didn't want to be repaid by Bai Yu in this life. For a time, all ninjas in the ninja world focused on the Sand Ninja battlefield. Baking Cheng handed the work in his hands to a ninja with good strength and flew back to Konoha all night to start his gaming career. After successfully joining Hatake Kakashi, Uchiha Obito, and Nohara Rin, Namikaze Minato returned to the camp with a sigh of relief and prepared to return to the village for the finishing work. After learning about the experience of the three people, Namikaze Minato was afraid for a while. For Bai Yu's timely appearance, Namikaze Minato rose a little grateful. If Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin really died in the battle, I'm afraid that with Namikaze Minato's character, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life. So Namikaze Minato wrote down the exploits of Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin overnight. I believe that soon, the two will be promoted to Jonin. The war in the Sand Ninja battlefield has entered a white-hot stage. Hatake Tsukumo, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Chihiro, Ibizo, Rasa and the ninjas on both sides were all bloodthirsty. And Laozi also released the complete four-tailed beast. Bai Yu was so excited. But it is better to be more serious about the two-tailed beasts. Bai Yu calculated the output in his heart, for fear that he would hurt the two-tailed beasts, or beat them back to their original form, if he was not careful. As for killing them, it is definitely impossible. It is impossible to kill them even if they can. When the Konoha side saw Bai Yu who was still at ease resisting the two-tailed beasts, their morale suddenly soared. The output was even crazier. With such a powerful man again, the ninjas of Konoha all gave birth to a will of fire. No, if this goes on, the two-tailed beasts are afraid to run away. Bai Yu saw that Shukaku had already exited the rampage state, and the four-tailed beast also had a serious face. Bai Yu thought to himself. Bai Yu frowned and came up with a plan. Purple flame array. Bai Yu flew around the two-tailed beasts. After calculating the position with super control, evenly distribute the chakra in the position just calculated. This formation is the formation and the information inherited by the dragon clan. 4 purple dragons with flames rose up all around. They rolled around. The two-tailed beasts were trapped alive in it, and of course Bai Yu was also in the formation. Senjutsu. Fire and Thunder Prison. Descend. A purple light flashed across Bai Yu's face, and the sky changed color instantly. The cage formed by 2 thunders trapped the one-tailed and 4-tailed beasts. After the 6-tailed beast escaped from this immortal method last time, Bai Yu upgraded this immortal method. It is not just a single thunder immortal technique, but also integrates his own fire and thunder attributes into it. As expected, Shukaku is not to be mentioned. The lava of the four-tail only vaporizes the ground, and the body gradually descends, while the thunder prison firmly traps the four-tail. The scorching heat has a paralyzing feeling, filling the spiritual senses of the two-tailed beasts. Bai Yu raised a smile at the corner of his mouth, and slowly approached the two-tailed beasts step by step. The Dharma Eye pattern in the depths of his eyes was slowly rotating. Bai Yu, what are you doing? You must know the importance of the tailed beasts to the village. You can't kill us. The four-tailed looked at Bai Yu nervously and said hurriedly, oh, I killed Shukaku once last time. And this is during the war. Bai Yu said with a smile, looking extremely relaxed. The rock ninja has surrendered. So now your reason is invalid. The four-tailed said quickly. Really? Don't worry, I won't kill you. Even this kitten, I won't kill. Bai Yu said with a smirk. How could the tailed beast power bank be killed? I used to suck Shukaku dry, but that was just a last resort. If you don't charge, where can I charge? Bai Yu thought gloomily in his heart. What on earth are you going to do? Four-tail said nervously. Shukaku had experienced it once, so he closed his eyes, like he accepted his fate. Asshole. Shukaku, you damn guy, why did you close your eyes? What on earth is this guy going to do? Four-tail saw Shukaku's reaction, and couldn't help cursing. Hehe. Bai Yu was outside the cage, and the yin and yang power in his eyes condensed into threads, slowly covering Shukaku and Fourtail. The chakra of the two-tailed beasts was absorbed by Bai Yu bit by bit. That's the feeling. The feeling of charging. Woo-how, yeah. So cool. Bai Yu absorbed the purest chakra after the Dharma Eye space was refined, and then refined it into his own energy with the help of Bai's great method. Bai Yu's cultivation continued to grow, and the figures of Shukaku and Fourtail gradually became smaller. Slowly, there was something empty. Asshole. That's enough. If you absorb more, I'll be gone. Fourtail said weakly. Sorry. This feeling was so good that I forgot it for a moment. Bai Yu was interrupted by the voice of the Fourtails. He said with an apologetic look. Don't just apologize. Withdraw your power quickly. The Fourtails said. Well, I'll withdraw it now. Hurry up. Don't rush me. I'm taking 2 puffs. Asshole. Have some patience, Fourtails. Damn it. Goddamn Bai Yu. I'm almost dead. Hey. Okay. Look at Shukaku. Shukaku's consciousness is starting to dissipate. Fuck. Bai Yu heard this and instantly withdrew his power. He was shocked. No wonder Shukaku didn't say anything. It turned out that he was on the verge of disappearing. The tailed beasts recovered very quickly. After a while, although the Fourtails was still very small, at least its body had solidified. And Shukaku also regained consciousness. Shukaku gave Bai Yu a complicated look and returned to the body of the Jinchuriki. The Fourtails followed closely behind and returned to the body of the Jinchuriki. Bai Yu, on the other hand, carried the unconscious Jinchuriki on his left and right. They flew back to the battlefield little by little. Listen, Sand Ninjas. If you want your Jinchuriki back, surrender quickly. We in Konoha treat prisoners well. We will return your Jinchuriki as soon as possible. Bai Yu circulated his chakra and spread his voice to the entire battlefield. What? The Jinchuriki was captured alive. The Konoha Death God is worthy of being the Konoha Death God. It is harder to capture a Jinchuriki alive than to kill a Jinchuriki. Everyone says that the tailed beasts are very powerful, but I think that Bai Yu of Konoha is even more terrifying than the tailed beasts. On the Sand Ninja side, discussions began to rise continuously. On the Konoha side, people cheered! Exclamation mark. But they still looked at the Sand Ninja side very vigilantly. After all, they had not announced their surrender yet. Bai Yu, I have to admit that you can only be comparable to a human-shaped tailed beast. I, the Sand Ninja, declare my surrender. Chiyo sighed and said loudly. Ilyusha was only a candidate for the Kazakage at this time, and Chiyo was the real person in charge. Who are you to compete with? Catch it. Bai Yu said disdainfully, and threw the one-tailed Jinchuriki on his left shoulder to Chiyo, as if he was throwing away garbage. But he deliberately threw it off center. The one-tailed Jinchuriki, with its head facing down, fell directly into the ground. The ninjas of Konoha were stunned, and the ninjas of Sand were also stunned. Sorry, the tailed beasts are too powerful. I'm a little exhausted, and I missed a point. But I shouldn't die, don't worry. Bai Yu said apologetically, and then steadily threw the four-tailed Jinchuriki onto Jiraiya's big-toed head. Comparing the two, even a fool would know what's going on. Chiyo's face flushed with anger, but she couldn't beat Bai Yu, so she had to wave her hand, and said in a deep voice, retreat. With this, the Third Ninja World War ended! Exclamation mark. Chapter 148 Namikaze Minato vs. Ube Brothers. The Third Ninja World War ended with Konoha's victory over the four villages. Konoha Ninja Village proved everything with its strength. However, after this war, although Konoha has a group of excellent ninjas, it also consumed astronomical amounts of supplies, and sacrificed a lot of ninjas in terms of manpower. Just as they were checking the remaining supplies on the battlefields, and preparing to return to the village, the Cloud Ninjas made a new move. The two brothers Ube led a small group of ninja troops, and planned to launch a surprise attack on Konoha. But what the Ube brothers did not expect was that Konoha had already ended the battle and the intelligence had not yet reached the hands of the two brothers. At this time, Konoha was in the most stringent defense stage. This was an emergency order issued by Sarutobi Hiruzen, fearing that some ninjas would take advantage of the slack of Konoha ninjas after the war to attack Konoha. As expected, the Ube brothers hit the jackpot. The one closest to the Abe brothers' marching route was Namikaze Minato. As soon as Namikaze Minato received the intelligence, he quickly performed the Flying Thunder God technique. Intercept the Abe brothers and contact nearby troops as quickly as possible. AI was moving quickly, Killer Bee followed closely behind, and a small group of troops followed. Just as the two brothers were about to approach Konoha village, a yellow flash appeared in front of them. Namikaze Minato made a brilliant appearance, causing the Kumo ninja to stop. After fighting with AI for several rounds, the two sides separated and stood in different positions. Flying Thunder God technique. Instant body technique. There is no doubt that it should be a yellow flash. Then we should retreat. A Jonin standing next to AI said seriously. At the same time, behind Namikaze Minato, Konoha's reinforcement team appeared. Is that so? This guy completed the task of Kanobi Bridge by himself. AI said seriously. You should be the son of the third Reikage, the extremely competitive AI. I heard that you are very capable. Namikaze Minato said calmly, holding the special three-pronged kunai. As long as my brother and I are here, we can deal with you. Damn Yalu, cry me Yalu. Killer Bee said confidently behind him. Everyone, don't move. I'll take care of them. Minato Namikaze said, and threw out several special three-pronged kunai from his ninja tool bag, scattering them around. Seeing this, AI's lightning release armor instantly covered his whole body. He turned into a blue lightning and punched Minato Namikaze's face. Minato Namikaze was not in a hurry and gently threw the three-pronged kunai in his hand. The kunai drew circles in the air. The next second, Minato Namikaze appeared at the position where the three-pronged kunai was inserted on the tree. You can actually avoid my extreme speed. AI sighed in his heart when the one who was gently thrown before appeared behind him. Minato Namikaze appeared again, caught the kunai, and was about to stab AI from behind. At this critical moment, Pucci bang this is. Minato Namikaze said in surprise. Killer Bee made a move. An 8-tailed tentacle appeared from behind Killer Bee, pushed AI away, and withstood the attack of Minato Namikaze. I'm sorry, Bee. Are you okay? AI quickly returned to Killer Bee and asked. No way. This guy. Could it be the 8-tails Jinchuriki? The Konoha support team said in amazement when they saw Killer Bee take action. This little injury is nothing. The 8-tails is the rapper Killer Bee. Killer Bee said in a weird tone. You are very brave. Whether you are the 8-tails or as a ninja, you seem to have something great. Namikaze Minato said seriously. This guy is better than me in terms of talent. AI pointed at Killer Bee and said proudly. Killer Bee slowly retracted the tentacles of the 8-tails. That's not what I'm talking about. You already have something more precious than talent. Namikaze Minato said lightly. AI was a little puzzled. AI. You have a good brother. Me too. The raid was discovered, so there is no need for a raid. The war is over. Don't fight fearlessly anymore. The next time we meet, we should fight in the name of the shadow. I hope you can quickly realize what is the most precious thing to your brother. Otherwise, he will become neither a Jinchuriki nor a human being. Minato Namikaze thought of the letter he received from Sarutobi Hiruzen not long ago. The content of the letter made Minato Namikaze feel sorry and happy for a long time. You said so many inexplicable words. Do you think I will let you go? AI said bluntly. Then AI looked at the positions of the kunai around him. This technique should be moved by the technique written on the kunai. I have mastered the positions of all the kunai. Next, as long as he moves to the position of the kunai, he will rush there as quickly as possible. After thinking for a while, AI rushed towards Minato Namikaze again. Because I'm also carrying a lot of things. Minato Namikaze said seriously. Fly. You will appear near that kunai? The moment AI rushed towards Minato Namikaze, he guessed in his mind. Rasengan. Minato Namikaze's eyes changed. He had already noticed AI's distraction. According to Bai Yu, in a battle, sometimes the unexpected effect will be better. Since AI is looking for where I will appear, why do I have to act according to AI's idea? Thinking of this, Minato Namikaze quickly formed a ball with his left hand and attacked AI. Damn it. AI dodged Minato Namikaze's attack and punched Minato Namikaze again. But the next second, Minato Namikaze appeared behind Killer Bee. The three-pronged kunai was pressed against the back of Killer Bee's head. I can't fail. Minato Namikaze said lightly. AI bared his teeth and turned back quickly. Ah. There is a spell written on the tentacles of the eight tails. A ninja noticed that there was a spell on Killer Bee's tail and said in surprise, was it at that time? AI couldn't help but recall that just now, Killer Bee used the tentacles of the eight tails to block Minato Namikaze's attack. It's time to fight, and you've already realized it. Be quick. Stab each other. Killer Bee said calmly. Although we are enemies, I admire you very much. You are worthy of the style of a Killer Bee. Minato Namikaze said. The next second, Minato Namikaze returned to his original position and stood against AI. The war is over. Are you sure you want to continue? Minato Namikaze said calmly. AI knew that Minato Namikaze had no reason to deceive himself. He pondered for a long time. Retreat. AI said in a deep voice, and then he left quickly with Killer Bee and a small group of Cloud Ninjas. Watching the departure of the Cloud Ninjas, Minato Namikaze returned to the position and continued to organize the ninjas to check the supplies and prepare to return to Konoha. Chapter 149 Uchiha Obito's Happiness. After the war, the smiles gradually returned to the faces of every Konoha ninja. It was no longer like during the war, when everyone's face was full of vigilance and seriousness. On this day, Hatake Kakashi was bored and looking at the scenery on a nearby mountain. Inadvertently, Kakashi saw a little girl who should be 1 or 2 years younger than Kakashi. She was crying somewhere, and there was no one around her. What's wrong with you? Kakashi appeared in front of the little girl and asked softly. The crying little girl was startled by Kakashi's sudden appearance. Seeing the harmless Kakashi, the little girl felt a sense of goodwill in her heart and pointed to her injured ankle. I accidentally twisted my foot. It hurts so much. I'm also lost. Woo woo. Kakashi glanced at the little girl's swollen ankle. I'll carry you on my back and walk forward. Kakashi said. Well, thank you. The little girl blushed and said timidly. Kakashi carried the little girl on his back and walked for a long time. But the little girl's face was full of loneliness along the way. Kakashi didn't ask her what happened. When you feel lonely, look up at the clouds. The clouds will change shape according to your wishes. As long as you have hope, the clouds will respond to you. Kakashi pointed to the clouds in the sky and said, well, I know. The little girl began to stare at the clouds in the sky blankly, and soon, she laughed out loud. Seeing this, Kakashi's dead fish eyes also showed a smile. However, not long after, the little girl saw an old man. Grandpa village chief. The little girl said happily. Kakashi put the little girl down. The little girl limped to the old man. When the little girl ran to the old man and looked back at Kakashi, Kakashi smiled and then disappeared with the body flash technique. The little girl stared blankly for a long time, then smiled, with a blush on her face. Follow the old man away. Rin, I have something to say to you. Uchiha Obito came to Nohara-rin stiffly. At this time, Nohara-rin was helping the medical team to check the supplies. Uchiha Obito's voice was so loud that it scared Nohara-rin. Obito, what's wrong? You scared me. Nohara-rin exhaled and rolled her eyes at Uchiha Obito. Ah, sorry. Come with me. I have something to say to you. Uchiha Obito hurriedly apologized nervously, then looked at the eyes of some people around him, feeling a little shy. He pulled Nohara-rin to the side. The two came to an uninhabited forest. Obito, what do you want to tell me? Nohara-rin asked in confusion. Uchiha Obito felt that his heart was about to jump out and his throat was strangled. He had practiced the words thousands of times, but at this moment he couldn't say them. Seeing Uchiha Obito's face flushed and hesitant, Nohara-rin seemed to have guessed something in her heart, and her heartbeat accelerated a little, recalling the bits and pieces of the past, as well as the time when Uchiha Obito was pressed under the stone, and her inner emotions. Nohara-rin had long understood how she felt about Uchiha Obito. Thinking of this, Nohara-rin was no longer so nervous, and instead looked at Uchiha Obito with a smile. What on earth do you want to say? Nohara-rin said with a smile. Uchiha Obito successfully transformed into a stuttering devil. Do you want to ask where Kakashi went? A sly flash of cunning flashed in Nohara-rin's eyes. No. Then what do you want to ask me? Nohara-rin said with a smile. At this moment, Urahito looked so cute. So funny. Yes, 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 You want to ask me if I've eaten? Yes, yes. Breathing stopped. Heartbeat stopped. I like you. Lin. Please date me. Urahito shouted, and then his heartbeat started beating fast again, and his breathing became rapid. Noharurin was about to answer with a smile. But at this moment, catcher. Bang he. Sorry, I didn't hide it. The branch was too small. The sultry Kakashi would never admit that he was so excited that he couldn't stand and fell from the tree. I'll think about it before I answer you, Noharurin said, and ran away with a smile. Kakashi, I'm going to kill you, bastard. In this small forest, the sound of ninjutsu fighting and the sound of weapons colliding suddenly rang out. The next day, Noharurin came to Urahito's bedside and changed his dressing. At this time, Urahito's upper body was wrapped in gauze. Seeing Noharurin coming over, Urahito was so excited. I told you a long time ago, don't fight with Kakashi, you can't beat him. Really? Noharurin rolled her eyes at Urahito and said softly, this is different. The point is, Kakashi ruined my life. Urahito waved his right hand wrapped in gauze angrily and said, you have to listen to me from now on, otherwise, I won't date you. Noharurin said seriously with a red face. Of course. I always listen to you. What? He said weakly, not daring to breathe on the hospital bed. I told you not to be dishonest. Lie down. I'll feed you some porridge. Noharurin rolled her eyes at Urahito in annoyance. Then she picked up a bowl of porridge from the table next to her and fed Urahito the porridge very gently. An incomparable happiness enveloped Urahito's heart, and that joyful emotion deeply stimulated Urahito. The Mangekyo Sharingan appeared. It slowly flowed at a strange speed, and the pattern on the eyes began to change. Urahito didn't move, and lay there motionless. Noharurin was shocked by this phenomenon. She hurried to call Namikaze Minato. It didn't take long for Namikaze Minato to come, and Hatake Kakashi came with him. Namikaze Minato looked at Urahito's eyes seriously for a long time and exhaled. It's not a bad thing. It should be the improvement of Sharingan. Just watch carefully. I will pass the information to you later. With Yu's knowledge, he will definitely know what's going on. Namikaze Minato said with a smile. For a moment, Noharurin's heart was much more at ease, while Kakashi beside him was thinking. Could it be that being beaten by me will improve his strength? Then I will beat Obito more in the future. Chapter 150 Return to the village. Bai Yu got the information and rushed from the base to Urahito. The speed was very fast. He arrived in an hour after getting the information. Bai Yu came to Urahito's side. At this time, Urahito had already finished the transformation. He was enjoying Noharurin's feeding. Seeing this, Bai Yu curled his lips. Bai Yu rudely slapped Urahito's smiling face with his eyes closed. Teacher Bai Yu. Noharurin and Urahito, who suddenly opened his eyes, saw Bai Yu's face blush. You kid, show me your Sharingan. Bai Yu smiled playfully and said to Urahito. Urahito heard the words and quickly turned his pupil power. A Sharingan that Bai Yu had never seen before appeared in front of him. Bai Yu exuded a chakra, covering Urahito's body, and began to check. As he checked, Bai Yu found that the chakra in Urahito's body was actually at the level of a Jonin. Moreover, the pupil power seemed to have reached a certain realm. As Urahito used it, there was no sign of pupil power loss. Obito, use the power of your Sharingan, Bai Yu said. Urahito heard this and glanced at a cup next to him. A twisted vortex appeared out of thin air next to the cup. The next second, the cup also began to twist and was sucked into the center of the vortex. Then the vortex and the cup disappeared together. Teacher, my Sharingan ability is a spatial ability. I can put objects in another world, constructed by pupil power. I can also bring people in. I can also manipulate the space inside to move. And part of the body can also remain spatial. Urahito said. Yeah. Bai Yu observed carefully when Urahito used the power of Sharingan just now. Urahito's pupil power really didn't lose a bit. Could it be? Bai Yu suddenly remembered that he had helped the Uchiha clan to unlock the tampered stone tablet before, and the record on it. Uchiha Obito's eyes turned out to be the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. Congratulations, Obito, your Sharingan has been upgraded. It has advanced to the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. Now you don't have to worry about the consumption of pupil power. Bai Yu said with a smile. Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. What is that? Uchiha Obito asked, puzzled. Why didn't Fugaku tell you? That's right, you opened the Mangekyou Sharingan on the battlefield. Then I'll tell you about it. Bai Yu was stunned at first, and then relieved. Sharingan has several stages. The first stage is the 1 Magatama Sharingan, then the 2 Magatama, and the 3 Magatama. The fourth stage is the Mangekyou Sharingan. At this time, the Sharingan will have different abilities. However, as it is used, the pupil power will be consumed until it goes blind. The fifth stage is your current stage, the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. The pupil power will reach a level where it will not be consumed, and you can use pupil techniques unscrupulously. However, your eyes will be sore and tired, and they will explode if you use them too much. Bai Yu said patiently. Uchiha Obito was about to make a bold statement excitedly, but when he heard that his eyes would explode, he immediately wilted. What explosion? There is no explosion at all. I'm afraid that you will be arrogant and think that the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan is invincible. It will also be restrained by ninjas with different abilities. Bai Yu thought to himself. I'm afraid that Uchiha Obito will be too arrogant and be killed. Teacher, is there any other knowledge about the Sharingan? Uchiha Obito asked. Yes, there are a lot of them. Just know these. If you want to know more, go back and ask Fugaku. Bai Yu waved his hand and said. Okay, I'm leaving if there is nothing else. Bai Yu said, and was about to leave. Teacher Bai Yu, I heard that Tsunade and Mikoto gave birth to 2 babies? Noharalin asked. Yes, when you return to the village in a few days, you can come and see. The boy is called Baiki and the girl is called Baiyao. When Bai Yu mentioned his children, he couldn't help showing a father's loving smile in his eyes. Yes, we will definitely go, Noharalin said with a smile. A week later, except for the ninjas stationed at the border, the main force returned to Konoha village. In a blink of an eye, the war lasted for several years. After the return of the 4 party troops, the whole Konoha village was boiling. In the square in front of the Hokage office building, basically everyone in the village came. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood on the platform on the roof, using all his life's energy to perform a passionate speech on the will of fire. Then Sarutobi Hiruzen talked about abdication and the election of a new Hokage. For a while, the topic of Konoha's people's after dinner chats revolved around the ninjas who had made contributions in the war and the new generation of Hokage candidates. And after Sarutobi Hiruzen finished his speech on the will of fire, he convened a ninja conference. Even the lax Jiraiya was required to attend. The meeting place was set up in the auditorium of the Chunin exam. Everyone. Today, it is more of a commendation meeting than a ninja meeting. Next, I will talk about the ninjas who have performed outstandingly in this ninja world war. After a tedious opening, Sarutobi Hiruzen said loudly, Uchiha Shisu, who earned the title of Konoha's instant body Shisu in the war. There is also Konoha's Thunder Fang Hatake Kakashi. Konoha's Blue Beast my guy. Konoha's Flame Messenger Uchiha Obito. Konoha's Medical Master Nohararin. As the young generation of ninjas, you are the pride of Konoha. You are the future of Konoha. You are really outstanding. Hereby, all of you are promoted to Jonin. Since Uchiha Shisu and Hatake Kakashi are already Jonin, I will talk to you two separately after the meeting. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words made the young generation of ninjas excited, as if they had received a great honor. Bai Yu sat aside, curling his lips obscurely. Old man, what's the point? Just to win over a few people, and still label them with the name of Konoha? How shameless. They are all my disciples, right? Bai Yu complained crazily in his heart. Hatake Tsukumo. Bai Yu. Needless to say, these two have always been heroes and role models of Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen began to talk about the achievements of the two. After that, he began to talk about the achievements of Orochimaru and Jiraiya. As Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke, Bai Yu gradually understood what Sarutobi Hiruzen meant. That is to take the opportunity to give face to Namikaze Minato. Sarutobi Hiruzen first talked about the new and outstanding ninjas, on the one hand expressing his affirmation of them, and on the other hand saying that they were too young. As for Hatakes Akumo and Bai Yu, it means that their achievements are naturally needless to say, but they are too old and can only be the pillars of Konoha. It's interesting when it comes to Jiraiya's group. After talking about the achievements, he said a lot of watery words. The method of subtly downplaying the achievements was very effective. Except for those who looked at Jiraiya and his friends with admiration at the beginning, they gradually returned to calm, and the achievements were successfully downplayed by Sarutobi Hiruzen's words. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.